Hello, and welcome to the Google Digital Marketing and E-commerce Certificate. I'm so excited that you're here. My name is Joy, and I'm a Product Marketing Manager at Google. I'll be your instructor for the first course of this certificate program. The demand for digital marketing and e-commerce specialists is growing at an incredible rate. In about a decade, the global e-commerce market grew by over 600%. And as more of the world starts doing business online, more people with varied backgrounds and experiences are entering the field, which means e-commerce is adapting to serve new markets and different cultures. With so much global growth, digital marketing and e-commerce offer high-paying jobs with or without a college degree. But while the demand for digital marketing and e-commerce skills is higher than ever, employers are struggling to find candidates with the right experience. That's exactly what this program is designed to do, to give you the knowledge and skills to start or advance your career in digital marketing or e-commerce. It doesn't matter if you're beginning a new career journey or already working in a similar role. By the end of this program, you'll be ready to find a job in these high-growth, high-impact fields. If you've ever bought anything online, you're familiar with e-commerce from the customer side. But what do digital marketing and e-commerce specialists actually do? Well, think about the last time you purchased something online. Big or small, it doesn't matter what it was. How did you end up buying that particular product? Maybe you needed something specific, like a new lamp or a piece of software, and you searched online to find just the right one. Or maybe it was something you didn't know you needed until you learned about it from a friend or an online ad. Digital marketing and e-commerce specialists probably played a role in helping you get what you needed. Whether it's through social media outreach or making sure the checkout process runs smoothly, they're always thinking about better ways to connect you, the customer, with the solutions and products you need. And in doing so, they help businesses of all sizes succeed and grow in the online marketplace. One of the best things about digital marketing and e-commerce is that there are so many different career paths you can take, each with their own set of skills and responsibilities. So, no matter what your background is, you'll probably find that you already have some relevant experience. For example, I work full-time in digital marketing and have experience running e-commerce stores outside of work. I studied public relations in college and eventually interned at Google, which turned into a full-time position. I also spent years helping my family run their online store, which eventually led me to start my own e-commerce beauty business. If you're not sure what direction you want to take, that's okay. This program will give you an overview of different types of available jobs. It will also let you explore certain specialized skill sets to help you figure out where you want to take your career. The program includes several courses where you'll cover topics like attracting customers through search engines and online ads, engaging customers on social media, and creating email campaigns. You'll also learn about measuring and analyzing results, managing customer relationships, optimizing an e-commerce store, and preparing for jobs. Completing a Google Career Certificate like this one will help you develop skills and learn how to use tools that will make you ready for a job in a fast-growing, high-paying field. You don't need any prior experience or knowledge in digital marketing or e-commerce because this certificate is going to start with the basics and build on the skills you already have. I'll be by your side throughout this first course, making sure that you're learning the foundational knowledge needed to succeed in the field. You'll also have a supportive network of peers taking the certificate at the same time as you. This program is also really flexible. You can complete all of the courses in this certificate on your own terms and at your own pace, all online. In addition, the Google Career Certificates were designed by industry professionals with decades of experience here at Google. You'll have a different expert from Google to guide you through each course in this certificate. We'll share our knowledge in videos, help you practice with hands-on activities, and take you through real scenarios that you might encounter on the job. You'll make customer personas, write marketing emails, use analytics tools, build a portfolio, even create a mock e-commerce store. The certificates are designed to prepare you for a job in 3 to 6 months if you work on the certificate part-time. And once you graduate, you can connect with over 150 employers who are interested in hiring Google Career Certificate graduates. Whether you're looking to switch careers, start a new career, level up your skills, or build a business, the Google Career Certificates can open doors to new opportunities. We've gathered some amazing instructors to support you on your journey, and they'd like to introduce themselves now.
Hello, my name is AK. I'm the Sales Excellence Lead here at Google. I'll be teaching you about attracting and engaging customers. We'll cover topics like marketing funnel, search engine optimization, and search engine marketing.
Hey there, I'm Cindy. I'm a product marketing manager for Google Ads. I'll be your instructor for social media marketing and advertising, which is about incorporating social media into your marketing campaigns.
Hi, my name's Miriam, and I'm a product marketing manager for Google Ads. I'll be taking you through what goes into an email marketing campaign from start to finish. I'll teach you all about preparing, crafting, and sending emails to optimize your business's brand. I can't wait to get started.
Hello there, I'm Michael and I'm a senior account executive on Google's mid-market growth team, which partners with businesses on their Google advertising strategies. I'll be your instructor for marketing analytics. I'll teach you how analytics tools are used in performance marketing. You'll learn how to monitor key metrics for marketing campaigns and e-commerce.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm a sales excellence lead at Google. I'll be guiding you through the course on e-commerce and selling online. Together, we'll explore how e-commerce stores work and how to engage customers.
Hello, I'm Mike, and I'm a Global Performance Curriculum Manager here at Google. I'll be your instructor for the final course of the program. There, we'll discuss how to build customer loyalty and other e-commerce topics.
And my name is Erica. I'm a people consultant at Google. My job is to help managers, leaders, and Google employees grow in their roles to help our organization reach their goals. I'll be guiding you on how to prepare for your upcoming job search and land a career in digital marketing and e-commerce.
And of course, you already know I'll be guiding you through Course 1. This is such a great time to grow your career in digital marketing and e-commerce. Sound exciting? Let's get started. Now that you have some idea of what to expect in this program as a whole, I'd like to tell you a little more about what's in store for you in this course. We'll start with the basics, exploring what e-commerce and digital marketing are and what people in these industries do on a day-to-day basis. We'll also cover some of the core skills for success in digital marketing and e-commerce roles, including some you might already have, and how this program will help you build them. Then we'll explore the current landscape of job opportunities. You'll learn about some of the opportunities available for entry-level job seekers and the responsibilities that go with them. This information should get you thinking about your interests and how they can help you find a fulfilling career path. Later on in the course, we'll explore some tools for engaging potential customers and driving online sales. We'll find out what goes into creating digital marketing strategies and discover some tactics they can use to reach customers, like digital ads, email, and social media. Lastly, we'll cover why it's important to measure and interpret the results of those tactics and how businesses use those insights to improve their overall strategies. We'll also provide a few more career tips to keep in mind as you continue on to the next course. That's all coming at you down the road. Right now, we're going to go over some resources that will help you get the most out of this program. I'm so excited for you to start this journey. Let's get right to it.
Hi there, I'm Amanda from Grow with Google. We're the team behind the Google Career Certificates, and we're thrilled you've decided to pursue yours in digital marketing and e-commerce. Experts here at Google created this program to help you develop skills that prepare you for jobs. Once you complete your certificate, you'll join a community of over 1 million graduates who are launching their new careers. And you'll instantly unlock resources to help you launch yours. This includes an industry-recognized credential from Google that can be added to your resume and your professional profiles like LinkedIn. We're also here to support you along the way as you navigate your job search. We know there's a lot involved in finding a new job. So included at the end of the certificate program, you'll find a course that shows you specific ways to use AI to streamline your search. You'll identify your transferable skills, update your resume for different roles, and practice interviewing, all with the help of AI. Plus, for learners in the United States, you can sign up for one-on-one career coaching and access thousands of job postings through Career Circle at no cost to you. These valuable resources are exclusively for Google Career Certificate graduates. Starting strong is the best way to ensure you complete the program and can access these resources. Here are a few of our top tips to get you to the finish line. First, stay on top of the deadlines, especially in these early weeks. Learners who do this are almost twice as likely to finish their certificate. Second, jump into the learner community right away. This is a great place to get advice and connect with other learners like you. Having this community as a resource to turn to if you get stuck significantly boosts your chances of success. And finally, don't get discouraged if you face challenges. It happens. Remember what brought you here, take advantage of the support available to you, and know that with persistence, you've got this. For the latest from Google on career advice, ideas for how to use AI, and notifications about new courses, subscribe to our newsletter at grow.google/updates. We wish you the very best as you embark on this exciting journey, and we look forward to supporting you as you earn your Google Career Certificate.
Did you know that the first sale made completely online happened in 1994? A man named Dan Kahn sold a CD for $12.48 over an encrypted website he built himself. These days, it's a lot easier to sell things online, whether you're an individual, a small business, or a massive retailer. E-commerce has come a long way since the 90s, growing into a global multi-billion-dollar industry. That's because e-commerce is generally cheaper, more convenient, and more accessible than storefront sales. And as the online marketplace has grown, also launched entirely new industries and career paths like digital marketing. In this video, we'll start exploring e-commerce and digital marketing and how they create value for businesses. Let's start with some definitions. E-commerce is a broad term that refers to the buying and selling of goods and services online. Most e-commerce purchases fall into one of the following 4 categories: physical products like books or home goods, digital products like ebooks or online courses, services like vacations or doctor's appointments, and software like word processing or photo editing programs. The ability to buy or sell just about anything, big or small, through computers, tablets, and phones has completely transformed the way we do business. For one thing, you don't need a physical storefront to start an e-commerce business. Many retailers maintain physical stores alongside e-commerce websites, but others are completely online. Without the cost of maintaining a store, it became easier than ever to start a business, which meant more people around the world began entering the online marketplace. But it also meant that the e-commerce market got crowded really quickly. To set themselves apart and get customers' attention, businesses brought their ads online too, which is how we got digital marketing. Digital marketing is the practice of reaching consumers online through digital channels with the aim of turning them into customers. A digital channel is any communication method or platform a business can use to reach their target audience online. They're things like websites, search engines, email, or social media platforms. If the aim of e-commerce is to sell products online, then digital marketing helps businesses make that happen. But there's more to it than that. Digital marketing also helps businesses build trust, inspire loyalty, and better serve their customers. In that way, it's similar to traditional marketing like print advertising or billboards, but it has a few added advantages for both businesses and consumers. First, digital marketing is cost-effective. Advertising budgets go a lot further online than they do on television, radio, and print media. That's because digital marketers can be very specific about serving the right ads to the right audiences at the right moments. But there's also the potential for customers to spread the word through platforms like social media. At the same time, digital marketing can reach more people than traditional campaigns, which rely on local platforms like newspapers and radio stations. It creates brand recognition in new, sometimes even global markets, which can drive sales and make products and services accessible for a variety of different people. Digital marketing can also produce faster results. If a customer encounters a product they want in a print newspaper ad, they may or may not remember to buy that product later on. But digital ads allow customers to take action in the moment, which can increase the chances they'll make a purchase. It also allows businesses to build relationships with customers through direct communication. Channels like email and social media allow a level of personalization that traditional marketing just can't compete with. You'll learn more about the advantages and challenges of digital marketing and e-commerce later in this course. For the moment, let's review what we've learned. Over the last few decades, e-commerce and digital marketing have fundamentally changed business. While the goal of e-commerce is to generate sales, digital marketing helps businesses do just that by connecting with customers and building relationships. Up next, we'll find out about some of the major roles and responsibilities in digital marketing and e-commerce. So far, you've learned what digital marketing is, what e-commerce is, and how they relate to one another. Now, let's explore some of the things people who work in these fields do on a day-to-day basis. The first thing you should know is that the digital marketing and e-commerce industry is kind of like an engine. There's a ton of moving pieces and a lot going on inside. Different parts of the engine do different jobs, but at the end of the day, they all work together to keep things running smoothly and efficiently. Now, at a big organization, you might specialize in one or two different areas, while at smaller companies, you could be responsible for a little bit of everything. With so many different jobs to do, there's no single set of responsibilities that applies to everyone. That's part of what makes this industry so exciting. No matter what your strengths are, there's probably a role to fit them. It also means you'll have tons of options when deciding where to take your career. I'm a small business owner, so I take responsibility for a lot of activities, like strategizing and executing marketing campaigns, website management, and product development. But I'm also able to outsource some of the activities I'm less experienced at, like customer service and order fulfillment. We all have our particular interests and strengths, and identifying yours can help you figure out what you want to do. So, if you like writing, you might enjoy working on marketing emails or blog articles. If you're more visual, you could end up working with image assets or website layouts. If you have a talent for organization, you might enjoy managing an e-commerce store. Or if you're more of a numbers person, you might spend your days working on pricing strategies or analyzing data to spot trends in customer engagement. This program will help you prepare for a variety of jobs in the digital marketing and e-commerce space, with titles like Digital Marketing Coordinator or E-commerce Analyst. Even though those roles might seem really distinct, there can be a lot of similarities between them depending on where you work. Because the responsibilities of digital marketing and e-commerce specialists often overlap, they tend to share some of the same skills and use the same digital channels, like social media, email, and ads. So, no matter what your title is, you might find yourself doing audience research, planning, creating, or publishing content, updating product descriptions, or analyzing data to understand the results of your efforts. And your goals might include everything from reaching and engaging potential customers online, building trust, demonstrating value, driving sales, or creating a great customer experience. Of course, there are many more types of roles within digital marketing and e-commerce, and you'll learn more about specific job titles and their responsibilities later on in this course. But no matter what kind of role you're aiming for, it helps to understand how their goals and responsibilities fit together, from raising brand awareness to driving sales to managing inventory. Fortunately, that's exactly what this program is designed to help you learn. Coming up, we'll explore some core skills for digital marketing and e-commerce and some ways you might have practiced them already. Hi, I'm Joy Wade, and I'm an Associate Product Marketing Manager here at Google, and that basically means that I work on digital marketing campaigns. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, so my parents are small business owners, and then my older siblings are also small business owners. So I grew up always helping them with all aspects of running a business. I was the person who was like, hey, maybe we should have a website, maybe we should have social media pages and an email list. So that was really important for them because they started their business way before a lot of the marketing channels we have today existed. So it was them learning about digital marketing and me kind of being Gen Z and growing up in that digital space. I actually started a YouTube channel back in 2011, and that was kind of my start of falling in love with content and, digital content creation. I was making a lot of lifestyle content. That was the age of the beauty guru and, a lot of women doing makeup tutorials. For some reason, I thought I could do makeup well. I could not. But I think that's, the beauty of YouTube. It's all about experimenting and finding your voice. And, those humble beginnings led to me eventually getting a career in digital marketing. After you graduate the program, looking for a job is going to be super important. And there's a ton of entry-level digital marketing roles out there. Think about the skills that you got from the course as well as any other previous job experiences you have and marry those with things that you see employers are looking for. If you're starting to get overwhelmed in the course, I want you to know that you can do it. It's a lot of work to get through this course, but nothing gets done without hard work. I think you'll really see a payoff at the end, and you'll thank yourself when you finally have your career in digital marketing. One of the things I like most about working in this industry is that there are so many different career paths you can take depending on your interests and experience. As you progress through this and the other courses in the program, you'll learn about lots of different skill sets that are in high demand. But even if you're totally new to the industry, chances are that you already have some skills and experiences that will help you succeed. In this video, we'll explore a few skills and qualities that can set you up for success in digital marketing and e-commerce. Curiosity, an analytical mindset, and storytelling. You don't have to be an expert in every single one. Remember, there are many different types of jobs in this industry, but I'm willing to bet that you have at least some experience with all of them. First, curiosity. People who are curious ask questions, seek out answers, and try new things. Some people are naturally curious, but it's also a skill you can build, and that can be important for working in this industry. That's because a big part of digital marketing and e-commerce is being curious about people, what they want, how they think, and what motivates them to take action. Curiosity is also important because the industry can change so quickly. So, exploring and keeping up with emerging trends will help you succeed as it continues to grow and evolve. Taking this course is a great example of curiosity. The fact that you're here means you're curious about working in digital marketing and e-commerce, and that you're actively seeking out answers. Being curious and asking questions isn't the only useful skill. Using an analytical mindset to solve problems can be a big help too. Digital marketers and e-commerce specialists use analytical thinking all the time. That doesn't mean we're all data scientists. I know I'm not. But we do collect and organize information to spot patterns, uncover trends, and solve problems. Having an analytical mindset isn't about technical skills. It's a way of thinking. If you ever made a big decision, like planning a trip or buying a car, you've probably practiced analytical thinking. If you compared things like cost, size, features, and safety ratings and picked a car based on which of those things were most important to you, that's analytical thinking. Most of us analyze situations without even realizing it. If you like solving puzzles and brain teasers, you're analyzing them to find solutions. Being a sports fan is another great example. Tracking statistics to know how your favorite teams are doing and predict how they might do in the future is similar to how digital marketers gain insights from data. Once you've analyzed data for insights, you need to be able to communicate them effectively to an audience. One of the ways we do that is through data storytelling. We use stories to turn dry numbers and statistics into engaging presentations and reports. Digital marketing and e-commerce specialists use data storytelling to share insights with clients and coworkers all the time. But it also helps businesses communicate value to customers in a way that's accessible, engaging, and most importantly, memorable. Stories allow them to connect with customers and set themselves apart from the competition. Everybody tells stories. Whether you've kept a blog or you're just really good at telling jokes, we all tell stories in our daily lives. And not all storytelling is verbal. Digital marketing and e-commerce use visual storytelling too. So if you have experience with drawing, design, or photography, you have the skills to create visual narratives for digital marketing campaigns. You'll learn more about some of the ways digital marketing and e-commerce specialists use storytelling later in this course. These are just a few examples of skills that can help you progress your career. There are many others, like adaptability or leadership. One skill I had before becoming a marketer that has really helped me is creativity. Sometimes you need to figure out how to set yourself apart from competitors. It's up to marketers to highlight a brand's unique qualities and get customers' attention in creative ways. As you learn more about the different roles and responsibilities in digital marketing and e-commerce, I hope you'll think of other ways you can bring your skills and experiences to the table. By considering your strengths as you go through the program, you'll be better equipped to convey them to potential employers. The industry will change and grow as new technologies develop, and you may need to learn new software or technologies. But with transferable skills like curiosity, an analytical mindset, and storytelling, you'll be sure to grow along with it. Coming up, you'll find out about some more specialized skills you might need and that this program will help you develop.
Hi, I'm Prisha and I'm an account strategist. As an account strategist, I help businesses grow by educating them on Google Ads. Some of my favourite aspects of digital marketing is how collaborative it is, and I really enjoy working with loads of different people, and I love being able to make a difference and really putting out the best possible content there is for my clients' users or for anyone out there. When entering marketing, it's so okay to not have as much experience as you think you need. I came into marketing with zero experience, and my biggest advice is to be really open-minded and to kind of not to fear rejection, because you'll be applying for so many different things, and it's okay to not get the role at the start because you'll work towards it in the future. My YouTube channel was something I decided to do when I was 16, and I started it because I wanted to raise awareness of my chronic condition, to help make a difference to the community, and to show others that anyone with a chronic condition or a visible difference can achieve their dreams or their goals. I started to also talk about makeup, but also travel vlogs and educational vlogs, and then I leaned into more apprenticeship / career related content just to raise awareness of that too. I was able to learn what my followers or what my community love most about my channel and kind of keep that going so that I'm able to grow even further. From my YouTube channel and running my own social media, I learned so many different things that I could bring into my day-to-day role during my apprenticeship. For example, one being the importance of being consistent with your campaign. So when you're kind of running multiple different campaigns, having that consistent messaging is so important. And I did that through my YouTube channel, Instagram and TikTok, just to ensure that people understood my brand and my story on different places. When I was 18 years old, I decided to choose an apprenticeship over university, as at school I knew my passion was digital marketing and I was going to study economics, but I realised that with my passion lying in digital marketing, why not start my career early? And I knew I really enjoyed it from my work experience on my YouTube channel. When I was interviewing for these different roles, one the apprenticeship and my full-time role at Google, I really wanted to show the importance of passion and how excitement goes a long way. And if you're passionate about something, that will carry you forward through any role or through any interview. So something I tried doing the apprenticeship when I had no experience was that I am passionate about digital marketing and I've done X, Y, Z to kind of really show that through my YouTube channel and through different things. So I think through anything, if you can show you're passionate and really excited about something, that will go a long way. When starting out in digital marketing or any career, it can be really nerve-wracking and you can have imposter syndrome and you can really feel like you're not meant to be here. And that's something that I faced in the apprenticeship, but also transitioning to a full-time role. My advice would be in that is just talk to loads of people and you'll see how many people actually feel like they are having imposter syndrome. And I think from talking about it over time, you'll kind of realize you do deserve to be here and you have earned this position. Finding a mentor can be really helpful. With your mentor, you can actually work on short-term goals, long-term goals, and they can help you with the different fears you may have. For example, I had a fear in public speaking, and my mentor and I were able to work on that and kind of set these short-term goals to be able to help me achieve it, so that now I'm able to present and do different initiatives based on that. I am super excited for you to complete this course and for you to be more passionate than you already are on digital marketing, just like myself. And I can't wait for you to complete this and for you to have all the relevant skills to become a digital marketer. Good luck.
Hi, my name is Melba, and I am a product marketing manager at Google. I help communicate the what, the why, and the when of the products that we are developing, both internally to cross-functional teams and externally to our defined target audiences. I would say my trajectory has been very unconventional. When I was 16, I actually had to drop out of high school to get a job and help out my mother financially. I grew up in a single-parent household, and if I'm honest, when I was 16, I never really thought that going to college, let alone getting a job at a place like Google, would be possible for me. It's interesting the way that things ended up working out, because after getting a job, I eventually found myself dealing with a very, very incredible, powerful Latina leader. And the very first time I saw a Latina leader, I was blown away, because it's not something that I used to see often. And when I did, I realized if she could do it, so can I. I went home that exact same day and I started researching a career in marketing. And so I really had to start from the ground up. I started to go take classes to get my GED. And after I got my GED, I went and I got my undergraduate degree while maintaining a full-time job. As part of my education and continued learning, I took several online classes, and I also did a lot of courses that were available for free online. And one of the biggest reasons that I did this is because I found that oftentimes I needed to sit with the materials and be able to do it at my own pace. For me, this was instrumental because since I did drop out of high school, when I was in college, I actually found that everybody else was at a more advanced pace than I was. I didn't have a lot of the foundational knowledge that they did. And so because of this, I often had to go back, take some online classes, take some additional courses, and really gain that foundational knowledge in order to be able to set myself up for success in the future. I knew I made the right decision of pursuing a career in marketing when I launched my very first campaign. My first campaign was actually targeting underserved populations. As a Latina, it's really important that in the work that I do, I am able to give back to my community and really make sure that their voice is being recognized. In addition to the work that I do at Google, I also founded a company called Mujeres on the Rise. And Mujeres on the Rise is a community that helps Latinas rise through resources, community, and coaching. Again, being from a marginalized community myself, I realized that there are so many barriers that are keeping us from pursuing what we want. And a lot of times those barriers are our own internal voices that are telling us that we're not capable of doing what we want to do. And so as part of the work that I do, I really started this community to share what I've learned along the way and help others do the same. I used to believe that where I was in life would forever dictate where I would be in the future. And having made so much progress from where I initially started, I know that's not necessarily true. You can change the direction of your life, but it all starts with one decision. You have to take that first step without necessarily thinking about the super long journey that might be ahead of you. Just take one step, one day at a time, and eventually you'll look back and realize how far you've come.
My name is Andrew, and I am a Partner Operations Program Manager for our ad support teams at Google. As a Partner Operations Program Manager, I work with our ad support teams who are providing direct support to our advertising customers. When I was graduating high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, or I guess what I wanted to be when I grew up, so to speak. So I was fortunate enough to attend the United States Naval Academy for 4 years where I graduated with a college degree, but also with a background in leadership to enter the Navy as an officer and lead sailors. The team that I joined was the submarine community and left Annapolis to go to Charleston, South Carolina, where I entered our nuclear power training program. It's a pretty grueling 6 months of theoretical nuclear engineering and then 6 months of hands-on reactor training. It being a very difficult program, unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for me. And nuclear engineering is something that still challenges me a bit to this day. I ended up getting out of the Navy a little bit earlier than I expected to. And so I had to reassess where I was and what I was doing and really figure out what I wanted to do after the Navy much sooner than I had originally anticipated. When I left the Navy, I was fortunate enough to have a friend who was actually working at Google at the time and understood a bit more of my background and helped me to really understand where I might be able to leverage my skills outside of the Navy and as I entered the civilian world. So I put together my first resume and started applying to jobs. But it really took me a couple of months to figure out how to apply for jobs well. I didn't have a ton of direction on where I wanted to go or what industry I wanted to be in. And I spent probably 5 or 6 months applying to, jobs that interested me or jobs that looked like they could be a fit. It was a bit taxing. You apply for a job and you wait and you wait and you wait, and then you finally kind of get that rejection letter, and you just hope that one day somebody kind of takes a chance on you. So when I started connecting with a few more of my peers to understand what they were having success with, that's when the light bulb clicked for me that I needed to do a better job of telling companies why they should hire me and why I would be a good fit at their company. I think I learned that the most important thing for me was going to be not just telling people about my military experience, but telling people about how my military experience makes me a good fit for, the role that they have open. Really trying to translate some of the skills that I did have, even if they weren't directly related experience, translating how those skills would make me a good hire or would make me a successful member of their teams. Once I started making a better effort to tell my own story and own my experiences, I started to see more success when I was actually interviewing. I think it's important to always be looking for new opportunities to learn. I didn't have a formal background in digital marketing, and yet I still was able to get into this industry and find success by being willing to learn, keeping an open mind when approaching new opportunities and asking a lot of questions. For anybody who's transitioning out of military service, my number one recommendation would be to talk with people who are in the civilian world already, whether that's other military folks who have transitioned previously or just friends, family, acquaintances who are already in the industry or in the area that you want to be in, whether that's asking for informational interviews to get to know more about a role or more about an industry, or asking for somebody to look over your resume to give you feedback about, what's confusing or what could be clearer or how do you better describe some of your experience. Don't be afraid to ask for help from people who are already in the role, who have that experience and can share some of that knowledge with you as somebody who's just joining the team.
Hi there, my name's Erica and I'm a people consultant here at Google, known elsewhere in the industry as an HR business partner. I help employees, leaders, and managers solve problems and focus on their career goals. I also provide guidance along the way, and I'll be doing the same thing for you in this program. My journey to working in HR wasn't a straight line. Early in my career, I held several roles in other industries, including restaurant server and cashier. I even handled auto insurance claims for a while. These jobs might seem really different, but they all taught me something about myself and what I wanted to do. When I realized I had a passion for helping others in the area of learning and development, my path became really clear. Now, I'm excited to share my knowledge with you as you embark on the next stage of your own career. I'll be popping in occasionally to introduce career resources and discuss job searching and interview tips to help you on your journey. In this video, we'll cover some things you should know about the job landscape and a few things you can start to do right now that will help you advance your career. Digital marketing and e-commerce are some of the fastest growing industries out there today. Right now, there are thousands of open roles around the world and millions of people are already working in similar positions. Many of those jobs didn't even exist 5 or 10 years ago, and even more will develop as new technologies emerge. If you search any job board, you'll find digital marketing and e-commerce roles at organizations of all sizes in just about every industry, not just retail and consumer goods. With opportunities in so many fields, people in these roles can make an impact in a lot of different areas, from education to healthcare and finance. It also means you can pursue jobs in industries you care about. Love fashion, technology, entertainment? All those industries need digital marketing and e-commerce specialists. At the same time, try to keep an open mind when searching for jobs. Your next role probably won't be your last, so even if you don't start out in your ideal industry, it can still help you build the career you want. In addition to targeting certain industries, you might also find you prefer some aspects of digital marketing or e-commerce more than others, and that's great. The strongest candidates have a broad knowledge of the fundamentals and a deep understanding of one or two specific areas. So as you move through the program, pay close attention to the topics and courses that engage you the most. Reflect on your strengths and think about what you want to do with them. You might not have the answer yet, but these questions will help you target roles that align with your career interests later. Even if you're not quite ready for a job search, there are things you can do during this program to improve your prospects later on. For example, it's never too early to explore job descriptions for open roles. As you consider your skills and the parts of the program you like best, search job boards for roles in those areas. Make note of terms and skills that come up frequently. For example, you might find that certain roles often mention data analysis and reporting. This information will help you learn industry terminology and find out where you might want to expand your skills. Once you have an idea of the roles you want to target, you can start to identify past samples of work that demonstrate relevant experience. Have you written an essay or a story? Designed a website? Managed a budget or organized information in a spreadsheet? You'll build a portfolio later in the program, so keep track of these items in case you want to include them. If you don't have any samples yet, that's okay too. You'll create some as you complete the activities in the upcoming courses. By the end of this program, you'll have concrete examples of work that can help you demonstrate your experience to potential employers. Another way you can put what you're learning into action is by starting to shape your public persona as a digital marketing or e-commerce specialist. In other words, by building your personal brand. You can demonstrate your knowledge and skills through your social media accounts or personal website, and might even end up with a few samples of work for your portfolio. Finally, be sure to keep up with this program bit by bit until you reach the end. By completing this series of courses, you're investing in yourself, your skills, and your future. You're doing it right now, so just keep going. Good luck, and I'll check in with you again near the end of this course.
So far, you've learned about some of the skills and responsibilities digital marketing and e-commerce specialists might have. And you've discovered a little about the job landscape. Now, let's go a little deeper and explore two of the main paths you can pursue in your career: in-house and agency positions. Some marketing roles are in-house, meaning you work for a single company to market and sell their products. For example, I'm an in-house product marketing manager at Google. So I work on creating compelling video and social content for the Think with Google brand. But if you'd like a little more variety working on different projects across multiple industries, an agency role might be a good fit. Agencies partner with companies that don't have in-house marketing teams to fill their digital marketing and advertising needs. There are pros and cons to both agency and in-house work, and which one is right for you depends on what you want out of your career. Of course, you don't have to commit to one forever, and this program will help you prepare for both paths. But there are some differences you should keep in mind as you consider your options. As an in-house employee, you get to know one company and its products extremely well. You also gain deep knowledge and expertise in a specific industry. So, if you work for a cosmetics company, your experience will translate most directly to a similar company. On the other hand, if you're the sort of person who likes working on a lot of different projects, working with one company on one type of product might not be for you. And if you do want to move to a different type of business, your specialized experience can make it harder to break into a new sector. Now, if you work for an agency, you're unlikely to get bored. Because agency work is project-based, you get to collaborate on a variety of initiatives in multiple industries. By working with different clients, you can develop a broad and flexible expertise that will serve you at a variety of companies. But that doesn't mean you can't specialize. Agencies tend to focus on a few different areas within marketing, like social media or brand building, so you can get to know certain skill sets very well. But there can be downsides too. The same variability that keeps agency work interesting can also make things unpredictable. Sometimes clients can surprise you with unexpected requests or ask you to do things in an unfamiliar way. The hours can be longer too, especially toward the end of a project. Of course, every workplace is different, and they won't all have the same advantages and disadvantages. Whichever path you choose, whether it's the deep knowledge and stability of an in-house role or the broad knowledge and flexibility of agency work, you'll gain valuable experience that can lead you to the next great opportunity.
I'm Zuri, and I'm Associate Product Marketing Manager at Google. I got into digital marketing in an unconventional way. So a part of my story is growing up and not necessarily knowing about digital marketing or marketing as a whole in general. And how I got into it specifically is through an amazing internship with Google, the Bold internship. Before I got into digital marketing, a few of the jobs that I had were not relevant to digital marketing at all. And my first job actually was at Chick-fil-A. In my hometown, I served as a waiter and took orders, served our customers, and made their food and their beverage. And that in itself had a lot of transferable skills to what I see now as a digital marketer, whether it's putting the customer or consumer first, or whether it's managing your time diligently and effectively. At its core, in my opinion, it teaches you how to interact with people. I am confident that if you look hard enough, you can find transferable skills and key characteristics that are transferable to an entry-level digital marketing role. The specific team that I work on within Google Ads is the brand architecture team. We think strategically about what is important to call out in the copy and the text that is in Google Ads. We have to keep in mind the advertiser who will interact and who will see the copy and the text shown within the ads portfolio. As an entry-level marketer, I work with a lot of teams to make sure the customer voice is heard. The majority of my day, I am being resourceful and looking through different documents, different presentations and decks to gather the information that I need to do my job. And that's the first half of it. The second half is pulling that information that I have gathered and going to talk to specific Googlers to ensure that, one, I understand what I read, but also two, in understanding what I read, that I'm appropriately applying it to the task at hand. And in addition to that, doing different trainings throughout the day and throughout my role that relate to and help me become a better Googler and help me execute my role more effectively. What I like most about working in digital marketing has to be creativity. I'm able to operate as a creative, as a strategic thinker, and also as a problem solver, with the end goal in mind of helping and promoting our brand to customers who love and use our products and services. And that's a key characteristic to have as a digital marketer, to know and understand customer behavior, to understand persona, and to be able to play to that. If you work and interact with people, if you promote and spread awareness about a brand or a product, you have a place in digital marketing.
My name is Jeb Ricketts, and I'm an account manager on big box retail at Google. An account manager basically works with companies that have already invested in Google to spend more money with Google. So think of large retail companies, could be apparel, could be electronics, could be groceries or a supercenter. When I first started at Google, I was working with small to medium-sized businesses, both e-commerce and lead generation. But on the e-commerce side, we worked with anything and everything. It could be apparel, it could be knickknacks. One of my favorite clients sold custom-made cards. So we had everything from small ticketed items to items that might cost $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. A lot of companies continue to go online, even if they have a brick and mortar presence. I think for e-commerce, it really depends on if you're omni-channel or not. Do you have a storefront property, and how can you expand your storefront by also selling online? And then if you don't have a storefront property, how do you increase your brand awareness to get people to go to your website versus going to a competitor website or to a brick and mortar business? I love with e-commerce that we can see the impact of what we're actually selling and working on. So through data analysis, all the analytics piece, we can determine we ran a campaign for $10 million and it brought us $30 million in profit. And that's an awesome feeling that you oftentimes don't get with other media channels. Think about television. It's very hard to prove whether or not that brought in money for the company. So I love seeing that bottom line and top line success with what we're able to do through digital marketing. Usually we'll have weekly projects where we're working on a presentation deck for a new product that we think our client should use. Or we're doing data calculations on a campaign that was just run and we're trying to determine that final return on ad spends. The common tasks for entry-level e-commerce people depends on what client they're working with. In a small company, you might be on Excel or Google Sheets calculating, what your spend has been for the past few weeks, and then trying to calculate again that return on investment piece, and then thinking about what new strategies can we come up with to improve that. So maybe that's having meetings with internal stakeholders that say, hey, we should do X, Y, Z if we want to increase performance over time. For a larger company, it can be a little bit more difficult to know the day-to-day because a lot of times it's reactive. You get an email from the end client who says, we need you to look into this or we need you to look into that. So you often have to jump around on a lot of small tasks while tackling a larger project, such as we want to adopt a $100 million campaign over the course of a year, and that takes several weeks to months to pitch an idea like that. To be a successful account manager, you need both hard and soft skills. The hard skills would be the data analysis piece. Can you look at the data and determine what needs to be done to improve the project or what we can take from the project after it's been ran? Soft skills could be as simple as just being personable in a conversation where you're talking about the small stuff, small chatting, and then going into very deep, complex situations with that customer. It's really about building trust and earning that rapport early on. I let my clients know I'm open to them. If they have any issues or problems, they should email me, they should call me, and I'll be able to answer those questions. And then when it comes to my time for a huge pitch, they already know me, they trust me, they've seen me answer all these tough questions, and now I have this new product idea that they love just because we've been working together for the past several weeks or several months. So my number one piece of advice would be to simply be patient, but be hungry. There's so much to learn about digital marketing. There's so much to learn about an individual client. Take time to hear that client's needs, as well as take time to learn about the products that you're working on or that you're selling. There's so much to learn, and you have to be open to it, you have to be hungry for it, and you have to be patient enough to learn it because it does take time.
Congrats on completing the first section of this course. I hope you're feeling confident and excited about the future. I know I am. How about a short review before you finish up and move on to the next part of the course? First, you learned about how to navigate this program and got some tips to help you get the most out of it. Then you learned about the digital marketing and e-commerce industries and how they've changed the way we buy and sell things. You discovered what digital marketing and e-commerce specialists do on a day-to-day basis and how they add value to businesses. After that, you explored some transferable skills that will help you in your career journey, as well as some specialized skills you'll develop in this program. Then you got into more depth with the types of roles and responsibilities you might have working in these fields. You surveyed the landscape of available jobs and learned some tips for career development. You examined the differences between agency and in-house work so you can start thinking about which one is right for you. Finally, you met some Google employees and learned about what they do and how they got where they are today. I hope everything you've learned so far is helping you build confidence about your career journey. But if you feel like you need a refresher before moving on, remember you can always go back and review any content you're unsure about. By picking up the basics, you're laying the foundation for the rest of your e-commerce and digital marketing education. When you're ready, I'll meet you in the next section of the course. Welcome back. Earlier in the course, you learned how digital marketing and e-commerce are continuing to change the business landscape. You found out a little about careers in these industries, including core skills, day-to-day responsibilities, job titles, and career paths. Finally, you considered some of the skills you already have that can help you advance your career. Now it's time to explore the ways that digital marketing and e-commerce create value for companies and for their customers. In this part of the course, you'll learn how companies use digital channels to reach customers and explore foundational concepts that can turn potential buyers into loyal customers. Lastly, you'll learn why measuring marketing performance is so important to success. Digital marketing is constantly growing and changing. That's part of what makes it an exciting field to work in. But some things are always important, like raising awareness, fostering trust, and building loyalty. The methods may change, but learning the fundamentals can help you adapt and grow along with the field. Are you ready? Let's get started. Did you know that over 60% of the global population is online? And more people are joining them every day. That's why every business, big or small, needs an online presence to be competitive. But it's not enough just to have a website. There may be a lot of people online, but there's also a lot of companies that want their attention and their business. Your target audience needs to know you exist, how you can help them, and what makes you different from the competition. Breaking through this crowded field and actually reaching potential customers, that's where digital marketing comes in. Now, you might have noticed I haven't mentioned anything about selling products yet. That's because digital marketing is bigger than sales. It's not that selling products or services isn't important, but it's only one piece of what digital marketing can do for companies. Individual sales are easy to measure, but they don't mean much if your target audience doesn't trust your brand or your customers don't come back for a second, third, or fourth purchase. A successful digital marketing effort guides all of a company's customer interactions. It allows companies to think strategically about how to reach customers through digital channels before, during, and after a purchase. It can be harder to measure the value of these activities, but a well-coordinated strategy allows businesses to thrive online and even grow. Let's think through an example. Imagine a company that makes running shoes decides to invest in digital marketing. They create some video ads and place them on a popular news site. They create accounts for several social media platforms and start posting content. But their posts don't get much engagement and their ads don't attract many new customers. What's worse, they don't even know why they aren't getting results. They've wasted time, money, and resources on a digital campaign that doesn't work. Now, let's think about what could have happened if that same company made an effort to learn about their audience. Instead of posting ads on a news website, they targeted sites that focused on running. Because they did research, they knew where to find their new customers online. That knowledge also let them create tailored content for their social media accounts that reached the right audience. And because they researched their audience, they were able to set meaningful goals for their strategy. With clear goals in place, they knew exactly how to measure their success. The information they measured allowed them to adjust their customer communication and improve their video, social, and email campaigns. They were able to recognize opportunities to reach potential customers and engage with them effectively. Yes, sales went up, but their well-planned digital strategy also built awareness, trust, and loyalty. You'll learn more about how marketers create and execute strategies like this one throughout the program. For now, let's recap. Digital marketing is more than running ads to drive sales. It's a set of practices that can affect a company's customer interactions at all levels and during every stage of the purchase journey. By learning about their customers, digital marketing teams can reach their target audience in a crowded online marketplace and nurture customer relationships over time. Coming up, you'll learn more about the value digital marketing creates for businesses and some of the challenges marketing teams face when planning and executing strategies for online engagement.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm a shopping specialist here at Google. So I work with large retailers to help them improve their marketing performance with Google products. One of the things that I love about my role is that it's really quantifiable and measurable. The products that I actually bring to market, I can see how they transform retailers' businesses and how it helps them drive more revenue for their company and meet their bottom line. So I was recruited from Howard University, which is a historically Black university, which is really cool because at the time there was not as much diversity, I would say, within the tech and e-com industry specifically. So when I think about DEI in the space of e-com, I really think about how we're connecting to our customers. We have to remember that we're representing and we're trying to reach a diverse customer pool. So our teams also have to be diverse. So I would think that we want to shape our teams, our community, our culture to be as open as possible to reflect society. I came without any e-com experience, without any digital marketing background. I really think that e-com is a place where you can come and grow in the role. And most folks that come from non-traditional backgrounds, are not classically trained in e-com or digital marketing, and are able to ramp up and add value to their clients really effectively within a short amount of time. So when I think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, I really like to put it in the context of people. So diversity specifically, I think about the breadth as well as the depth of people. So having the same opportunity set. And diversity is making sure that everyone has access to that. When I think about equity in terms of people, I think about compensation. We all want to make sure that we're being paid at a similar rate for the skill set that we're bringing to the table. And when I think about inclusion, I really think about belonging. And really for me, that has to do with whether my opinion is valued and whether my input is accepted by the team and sparks a dialogue and conversation in the same way that someone else's would. If we think about society and we think about kind of sometimes how folks are just trying to check the box, sure, we can have kind of a diverse environment around us, but if everyone is not being compensated fairly, or if people don't really feel like they belong and they're coming from different backgrounds, it's not really making a dent and really not really contributing to the overall goal, which is, again, to be representative of society. It's important that we have all three, because we can have a diverse room, but that doesn't mean that everyone has an equal voice. The way I make sure folks who may not look like me or talk like me or act like me are heard is sometimes I just like to take a step back and listen. We often can fill up a room with our thoughts and you miss the input from some of our more quiet or reserved teammates. So sometimes I just like to take a step back, take inventory of the room, and take a couple of meetings to just listen. And that allows other folks to kind of have more room to voice their opinion and to provide their input. And sometimes I even, like to ask folks directly who I know may not be more comfortable sharing their opinion directly, like, hey, X, what do you think about this specific topic? And that's a way that you can make it open and friendly for someone to contribute without them feeling uncomfortable kind of cutting other people off who may be a bit more boisterous. I think the goal is for e-com companies and marketing companies to look just like society. That is the ultimate goal. But the way that we can do that is through action. So rather than using words and saying what we believe we stand for, the way that you can demonstrate that you believe in it is through actions and through creating that change that you want to see.
My name is Janice, and my role at Google is a product marketing manager on the Grow with Google team. Grow with Google's goal is to create economic opportunity for everyone, and through inclusive marketing, we can really make sure that we're representing everyone accurately and authentically. My favorite part about my job is that I get to work directly with people that we impact and serve. On Grow with Google, I get to be the person that partners with nonprofit organization that can directly go up to people and say, hey, I have an opportunity for you that will open up doors for a new job and a career that you probably thought wasn't possible before. Representation is really important, not just because it is the right thing to do. It's important that people can see themselves in your work so that they feel like they matter, so that they feel visible. but it's also the right business decision. We did a study on inclusive marketing that proved that people who saw themselves representing in work were more loyal to that brand and actually more likely to purchase or use that brand's products and services. If you're new to inclusive marketing, there are a few things that you should think about when practicing inclusive marketing. I think the first thing is saying, am I representing a group in a way that can be harmful to them? That is number one. Make sure that you're not offending a certain group. The second thing is to think about, who am I trying to reach, and are they represented in this piece of work? And then I would also say to ask yourself, who's missing? Who is not in the room? Who are we trying to speak to that we haven't spoken to before and that we're not representing in our work? Understanding your audience is absolutely critical to informing your inclusive marketing strategy. You are not going to be able to accurately represent a group of people unless you truly understand more than just what they look like. You need to understand their environment, you need to understand their actions, their behavior, what influences them. I would start with the research, and then from there, build your idea, build your solution, build your plan, because only then will it be authentic and speak to your users. And so it's really important to do that work up front to understand not just one type of person from this group, but many different kinds of experiences from that one group when you're looking into inclusive marketing.
My name is Xiomara. I am a product marketing manager. A product marketing manager works on telling the story about why a product or feature or some tool that we're building can be helpful for them. So you might think of that as seeing a commercial or seeing an ad online, and why that thing is special for you. An inclusive marketing consultant is someone who reviews creatives or campaigns at the company to make sure they're being more inclusive. So an example of that is thinking about what users we're showing and how we're showing them, and if the creative is accessible. So if we're creating a website or we have an event, making sure that anyone is able to attend that event or able to see or hear the website. Being an inclusive marketing consultant fits into my role because I get to use that lens every day when I'm reviewing my creative or reviewing my campaigns. But on top of that, I also get to work with other teams and provide the knowledge that I have about inclusive marketing so they too can apply those principles. My personal experiences growing up low income, being a first generation college student, being part of a family that had small businesses, an immigrant family, all those things come into lens when I think about what stories I want to tell, what users I want to show in our marketing campaigns. And I think in terms of work experiences, definitely being able to be an inclusive marketing lead at the company has also given me the ability to learn about other perspectives that I'm not aware of personally, and then making sure those stories are also being told in the marketing that we put out in the world. We have the influence and the power to tell stories that a lot of people, millions of people, can see. The benefit of having inclusive marketing is that you are building and telling authentic stories in the world. And that is not only good for your brand, but it's good for the people who are seeing it. We're telling stories that matter to people. We're making them feel seen and represented in our work. One way you might see inclusive marketing principles being applied is who you show. So are you showing a range of ages, people with disabilities, people from different racial or ethnic backgrounds? Are you thinking about geography, right? Are you showing people in communities that are in a city versus a rural area? Another way you might see this is if you have a digital ad running and it's a video, do you have captions? Because not every user has the ability to hear, so they need to read what you're saying in your campaign. Inclusion can be right from the beginning to the end of your creative. Marketers can think about inclusion early and often, first by starting with their project brief, outlining who their audience is, what the story is that they want to tell, whose perspective might be missing. The next step might be partnering with an agency, an organization, or doing research with a set of users to then make sure that that story is told authentically. And afterwards, when they're actually working on the creative, is getting feedback early, getting feedback often, again, bringing back a lot of the users' perspectives that may be missing on your team and making sure that that's reflected in the feedback process. Getting different perspectives from a big group of people may seem daunting in the beginning, but it does become an exercise that actually is really important no matter what you're working on, whether your intention being inclusive or not. It's part of the process. So as a marketer, You are always managing a lot of perspectives or opinions from maybe your stakeholders, from your team. So just think of it that same way. Now you actually have another set of users who are also providing a perspective, and you just have to get the themes out of it. And back to analyzing data, it's the same thing. What is the theme that I'm hearing here, and how do I make sure it's being reflected? And in the end, it's really worth going through all of this because you'll have really beautiful, successful stories that you're telling and putting out in the world. There's always room for learning. If you're interested in learning about inclusive marketing, a great resource is Google's All-In Inclusive Marketing Guidelines. If you're learning about a particular audience for the first time, if you want to get research or other insights, or want to learn how to avoid stereotypes, or even see really great marketing campaign examples, this is a good resource for you to go to if you're starting for the first time. Challenge yourself to get other perspectives to continue building your knowledge. We all have biases, and the people we surround ourselves with also help us build certain biases. So by putting ourselves out there, by looking at things that we're not familiar with, we can challenge ourselves to have other perspectives, to start removing the biases we have. That way we build inclusive marketing that's put out into the world, so we're always telling authentic stories.
Welcome back. So far, you've learned about some of the things digital marketing and e-commerce can do for e-commerce businesses. You know the advantages of digital marketing and the challenges of reaching customers in a crowded online field. You also know that the first and most important step to any marketing strategy is learning about your customers. Let's get deeper into that last point. It's easy to think of a business's marketing efforts as being all about them, about ways to bring in customers, boost profits, or grow their online presence. But a really effective marketing strategy starts with learning about customers' needs and pain points. Pain points are the specific problems customers and potential customers want to solve. Instead of asking, how do we sell more products? The most successful businesses want to know, how do we help customers address their pain points or achieve their goals? One is about the company's goals, the other is about the customer journey. What is a customer journey? Well, think about the last time you recommended something to a friend. It could be a product, like an app or a tool, or a service, like a restaurant or a contractor. Now think about your journey with that product or service. How did you first find it? If you had questions, how did you get answers? What convinced you to try it? How did it help you solve a problem or achieve a goal? And finally, what made you decide to recommend it to someone else? The path you take from learning about that product to getting your questions answered to making a purchase is your customer journey. From your perspective, the goal of that journey wasn't necessarily to purchase a specific product. It's just the thing that you ended up purchasing happened to fulfill your needs. Here's an example. Let's pretend you're in the market for a new weather app. Maybe the one you have isn't reliable and you keep getting caught in the rain without an umbrella. So you search online for best weather apps and find some options. One stands out because the name is familiar. You think a friend might have told you about it recently, or maybe it was an online ad. You narrow your options to a few candidates and start reading reviews. 2 have all the features you want, but you pick the one with the familiar name. It tops several best of lists and it has a trial subscription. So you download the app, but it's not working right. You go back to the reviews and find out this is a known issue, so you contact the support through live chat. They help you fix the problem quickly, which makes you feel good about the company. You start the trial, and after a month, you've always had your umbrella when it rained. You get an email reminder that your trial is about to expire, and you're so happy with the app that you purchase a subscription. Now you're a loyal customer. Each interaction with the brand during this purchase journey is called a touch point. From the search to the customer reviews, online ad, trial subscription, live chat, and follow-up email, every touch point had the potential to help or hurt your impression of the brand and its product. A bad experience at any point can mean an abandoned journey, so it's in a company's best interest to make sure you get information and answers you need along the way. With enough customer research, marketers can use these touch points to create a customer journey map. A customer journey map is a visualization of the touch points a typical customer encounters along their purchase journey. You can even have multiple journey maps based on the patterns and behaviors of different types of customers. Of course, it's impossible to know exactly what route each person will take, but journey maps aren't about predicting the future. They help you understand how and why customers are interacting with your business. When you know how customers are finding you, how they're learning about you, and what problems they want to solve, you can work to make their experiences better. And better customer experiences ultimately mean greater success for your business. And there you have it. By understanding customer journeys, you can create better, more user-friendly experiences. Coming up, you'll learn how journey maps work along with another tool, the marketing funnel, to target their marketing efforts and encourage potential customers to make purchases. Now that you know about customer journey maps, it's time to introduce a related concept, the marketing funnel. The marketing funnel, also called the sales funnel or conversion funnel, is an idea that's older than the internet. In fact, marketers have used it for over 100 years. If it's been around that long, it must be a pretty powerful tool. So what is a marketing funnel and how does it work? A marketing funnel is a visual representation of the process through which people go from first learning about a brand to becoming loyal customers. The funnel is wide at the top and narrows toward the bottom because a lot of potential customers will enter the top of the funnel, but only some of them will reach the bottom to become loyal customers. Of course, people will drop off at every stage in between, so you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to keep them moving through the funnel. There are a lot of different versions of the marketing funnel, and you'll learn about a few of them later. Right now, I'm going to introduce you to a simple version of the funnel that has 4 stages: awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. At the top of the funnel is the awareness stage. This is when a potential customer encounters a brand for the first time, maybe from an ad or a recommendation. At this stage, the customer probably doesn't know enough about that company to form an opinion. They're just aware it exists. Awareness is the widest tier because even though a lot of people might know about a company, only some of them will think about doing business with them. That's why it's important to raise as much awareness as possible among target audiences. A target audience is the group of people most likely to purchase a company's products. They're the ones whose attention your digital marketing efforts should capture. Things start to narrow at the next stage, consideration. This is when some potential customers from the awareness stage start to think about doing business with a company. At this point, they could be actively browsing the website or comparing different brands, so making a good impression is key. Those who move beyond consideration go to the conversion stage. Conversion is when someone decides to make a purchase and become a customer. To increase the chances of conversion, businesses should demonstrate their value and provide a user-friendly experience. The last stage is loyalty. It takes a huge amount of effort to move potential customers from awareness to conversion. So, once a customer completes a purchase, you want to give them reasons to return. Making current customers happy can increase trust and keep them coming back for years to come. Now, if you're thinking that this all feels pretty similar to a customer journey map, you'd be right. Marketing funnels and journey maps are related concepts, and they're best when used together. Here's how they complement one another. First, you know that a journey map traces the customer's path to purchase along specific touch points. But a marketing funnel is part of a business's plan for moving customers along that journey. A journey map adopts the customer's perspective, but a funnel considers that same process from the position of the business. Second, the structure of a marketing funnel is simpler than a journey map. Customer journeys are complex because they demonstrate how customers might interact with a brand. Their paths to purchase are unique and they can repeat or loop back on themselves. In contrast, the funnel is a linear model that breaks this journey into broad stages. It's not about how specific customers reach consideration or conversion, but what a company can do to move lots of customers from one stage to the next. Remember the weather app example? Let's think about a few of the touch points our hypothetical customer encountered and how they might fit into a marketing funnel. The customer was reminded of the app by the online ad and search results, making these awareness activities. The trial membership could be a consideration offering since it helped the customer learn about the product. But it was the reminder email that finally got them to commit, so that's a conversion tactic. Funnels like this one help businesses focus their goals and marketing efforts, making their path from awareness to loyalty as smooth as possible. They drive engagement and make it more appealing for customers to do business with a company. When used together, journey maps and marketing funnels help marketers understand and serve their customers better than either can alone. Let's review. Along with customer journey maps, a marketing funnel is a powerful tool that allows businesses to focus and coordinate their marketing efforts. To get the most out of a funnel, they should try to optimize their work at each stage. From awareness to consideration, conversion, and loyalty, a carefully planned funnel can help businesses succeed online. Coming up, we'll explore a few different versions of the marketing funnel and discuss how they evolve through e-commerce. Meet you there. Hello again. Earlier in the course, we went over the concepts of the customer journey and the marketing funnel. Now, let's explore the funnel in a little more detail, starting at the top with the awareness and consideration stages. We'll consider some of the things teams can do to get attention from potential customers and drive engagement effectively. First, awareness. You already know that awareness is when a potential customer encounters your brand for the first time. This may seem like a simple idea, but how do you make sure your brand gets in front of the right audience? The first step is research. Finding out who your customers are and where they are online can help you focus your marketing efforts in the right places. Getting to know your particular audience allows you to pick the channels that have the best chance of reaching them. There are a lot of different tactics a business can use to reach customers. One way is to improve their rankings and search engine results. They can do this by optimizing website content around specific search terms or paying to place digital ads on websites, social media, email, or video platforms. Forming promotional partnerships with other brands or influencers can also help raise awareness. You'll learn more about each of these tactics later in the program. For now, just remember that a strong top-of-funnel marketing strategy takes advantage of multiple channels and creates a consistent experience across all of them. It's also important to keep in mind that awareness isn't a one-time event. Once someone knows about your business, it can take days, weeks, or even longer for them to get to the consideration stage. So once you've reached a potential customer, the goal is to get them to remember you. Say your company sells refrigerators. That's a big purchase and not one that you make every day. So even if a potential customer knows about your business, they might wait until their old fridge breaks to start thinking about a new one. Maintaining a consistent online presence can remind them that you exist when the time is right. That way, they'll think of your business when they do need your services. Now let's move on to consideration. You know that consideration is the getting to know you stage. It's when people start exploring your business and finding out what makes you different from the competition. During this stage, the goal is to increase the chances that a potential customer will eventually make a purchase. They might be reading online reviews or actively browsing your website by now, so you need to give them reasons to stick around or to come back if they've already left. At this stage, some potential customers will become leads. A lead is a potential customer who has interacted with a brand and shared personal information like an email address. Let's take that refrigerator example again. Imagine that customer goes to your website and checks out a few different models, but they don't make a decision right away. Maybe they need more time to think about it or want to compare different brands. Or they could have just gotten distracted. You can engage that person again by serving them ads based on the products and pages they visited. That makes it more likely they'll return to make a purchase. Once a potential customer is on your site, you should aim to educate them about your offerings and explain how specific products or services address their pain points. That can mean offering engaging, useful content like blog posts, newsletters, or webinars. Free samples, tools, or trial memberships can let potential customers test out your services before committing. The goal is to start building trust in the quality of your products and give customers what they need to make an informed choice. To recap, the top of the funnel boosts awareness and customer engagement. At the awareness stage, marketers use a variety of tools and channels to connect with potential customers and stay fresh in their minds. During the consideration stage, they should make it clear what they're offering and how they can meet customers' needs. When executed carefully, awareness and consideration tactics can lead to more people eventually becoming customers. Coming up, you'll learn more about marketing funnels and discover some ways to measure awareness and consideration success. So far, you've learned about some ways to raise awareness and engage with potential customers. You know that selecting the right channels to reach a target audience is one of the most important things businesses can do to market products online. But we haven't gotten to the most important part. How do you know if the tactics you've chosen are working? Are there ways to improve on what you're already doing? Or do you need to start again with a whole new plan? To answer all of these questions is measurement. The fact is, no matter how much research you do or how carefully you plan a marketing strategy, none of it matters unless you can measure your success. Measuring outcomes at each stage of the funnel allows you to find out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and where you can improve. In this video, we'll discuss some of the metrics companies use to measure success at the top of the funnel. A metric is a quantifiable measurement used to track and assess progress toward an objective. Marketing metrics can gauge different aspects of campaign performance and effectiveness, which can help businesses make improvements for the future. For example, to measure awareness of their ads, marketers use tools to track things like impressions, reach, and frequency. Impressions are the total number of times an ad appears on people's screens. That number includes users who encounter the ad more than once. So if an ad is encountered 200 times by 100 people, the number of impressions is 200 since it's been shown 200 times. In contrast, reach is the total number of unique individuals who encounter an ad across their different devices. No matter how many times a person gets that ad, they're only counted once. So the reach of an ad that's encountered 200 times by 100 people would be 100. Frequency refers to how many times each individual encounters the ad in a given time frame. So if each of those 100 people gets the ad twice in a week, the frequency would be 2. These are just a few of the metrics you can use to gauge awareness. You'll learn more about tracking and analyzing awareness measurements later on in the program. The goal of the awareness stage is usually to get ads in front of the right people at the right times. By analyzing impressions, reach, and frequency, marketers can find out how big of an impact their ads are having. If the numbers are below the company's goal for awareness, they may decide to reevaluate their ad strategy. But businesses can also have more specific awareness goals, like getting a certain amount of visitors to a page on a website. Exactly what you choose to measure depends on what you're trying to achieve. That's why it's important to set goals for each stage of the funnel. At the consideration stage, there are different ways to measure success, but they all come down to one idea: engagement. How much, how often, and for how long are potential customers engaging with your content? Analytics tools can track things like how often customers search for your business online, the number of first-time visitors to a site, the number of pages per visitor, and how long visitors spend on a page. Signing up for emails or newsletters is another good measurement of engagement. And getting customer contact information will make it easier to remind them you exist and demonstrate your value later on. It may seem like more engagement is better, but that isn't always the case. If the goal is for customers to find what they need quickly, but customers spend a long time completing tasks, it may mean you need to reevaluate the layout of your website. Measuring website interactions can give you a lot of insights, so knowing which numbers are important and what they mean for your goals is crucial. Even with clear goals and accurate information, measuring awareness and engagement is often more challenging than measuring bottom of the funnel concerns like sales. Later in the program, you'll learn how to interpret this kind of information and how businesses use it to improve their tactics for moving leads from consideration to conversion. Let's review. Measuring awareness and engagement is the most important things brands can do to ensure success at the top of the funnel. Marketing teams use analytics tools to measure awareness through numbers of impressions, reach, and frequency. Consideration can be measured through website engagement, including page visits, detail views, and email signups. Knowing what to measure in order to reach your goals is an important part of marketing success. Coming up, you'll learn more about the funnel and what to do at the conversion and loyalty stages. Welcome back! In the last lesson, we covered the awareness and consideration stages of the marketing funnel. We discussed some of the things businesses should do and measure to raise awareness and boost customer engagement. Now let's get into the conversion and loyalty stages of the funnel. We'll consider what teams can do to drive sales and keep customers coming back again and again. You know that the conversion stage, also known as the decision or purchase stage, is when someone makes a purchase and becomes a customer. Not everyone who considers a purchase will convert, and potential customers make purchases when they think that one company's solution fits their needs better than others. So it's essential that they do everything they can do to demonstrate and deliver value at this stage. You want customers to trust you and feel confident in their decision to buy your product. The goal of the conversion stage is simple. It's to turn potential customers into buyers. But how different companies go about making that happen depends on their products and audience. It's also important to keep in mind that different customers can get from consideration to conversion through different touch points. But it is possible to identify trends in customer behavior so you can personalize content and improve target areas. You'll find more about identifying these trends later in the program. To set themselves apart at the conversion stage, businesses should provide clear and useful content and experiences. That includes everything from accurate product descriptions to a smooth checkout process and a clear returns policy. Well-placed, product-focused ads and a clearly organized website can be persuasive too. Whatever the methods, making it easy for leads to find answers and take action makes conversion more likely. Now, some marketing funnels end after the customer makes a purchase, but building and maintaining customer loyalty can be just as important as converting them in the first place. Successful businesses balance customer acquisition with retention. Because once you've made the effort to build a relationship with a customer, you want to keep that relationship going. Customer loyalty depends foremost on the quality and value of your product. But even if a customer loves their purchase, that's no guarantee they'll come back for more. Building loyalty is about creating a great customer experience during and after purchase. Many companies use things like follow-up emails, rewards programs, or social media engagement to nurture relationships with customers on an ongoing basis. Those interactions should always be purposeful and thoughtful. For example, email coupons can encourage repeat purchases. But sending a coupon for something a customer just bought, they probably won't be too happy about that. When companies focus on creating a positive post-purchase experience, they can drive future sales and win customers who aren't just brand loyal, but devoted fans. And that's it. Let's review. At the bottom of the funnel, businesses focus on converting potential customers and encouraging those customers to return in the future. During the conversion stage, they demonstrate value through quality content and experiences. After a purchase, they build loyalty by continuing to engage customers and build relationships. By optimizing these results at each stage, businesses can thrive in a crowded online marketplace. Coming up, you'll review what you learned about marketing funnels so far and find out some things businesses can do to measure success at the bottom of the funnel. Meet you there. By now, you've learned a lot about the marketing funnel and how businesses use it to raise awareness, increase consideration, encourage conversion, and build loyalty. You know some of the things they measure at the top of the funnel and understand why tracking this information is key to success. In this video, we'll explore some ways to measure success at the bottom of the funnel in the conversion and loyalty stages. Let's go! The most basic thing you can measure at the conversion stage is the number of conversions. A conversion happens when a potential customer takes a desired action. In this case, when they make a purchase. Seems simple, right? The number of conversions is crucial information, but it's not the only thing you can measure at this stage. Tracking time to conversion, cost per conversion, the average number of touch points before conversion, or the average order size can provide valuable insights into how customers interact with your brand. These insights also allow you to address drop-off issues like abandoned carts. Cart abandonment is when a customer adds an item to their cart but doesn't complete the purchase. Believe it or not, it's estimated that nearly 70% of online carts are abandoned. So, finding out where customers drop off in the checkout process can help you improve procedures and increase your conversions. Okay, it's time for the last stage of the funnel, loyalty. How a business chooses to measure loyalty depends on their target audience and particular goals. Some common things to measure include the rate of repeat purchases, the length of time between purchases, the number of orders per customer, and the rate of account activation after sign-up. The level of engagement with rewards programs is also another indicator of customer loyalty over time. Loyalty metrics allow businesses to assess and refine strategies to keep customers, boost sales, and save money. But they also reveal where they can manage customer relationships more effectively. In the end, customer loyalty is the truest test of how well the entire funnel serves customers and meets their needs. We'll get further into how conversion and loyalty measurements are used later in the program. For now, just remember, beyond completed purchases, conversion measurements also track behaviors like time to conversion and order size. These measurements provide valuable information that can enable teams to curb drop-offs and increase sales. Loyalty measurements track things like account activation, time between purchases, and orders per customer. By measuring loyalty, businesses can improve retention rates and build revenue over time. And there you go. Measuring results throughout the funnel is the best tool brands can use to optimize their effort at each stage. And a well-planned funnel means they can nurture leads effectively throughout their purchase journeys. Coming up, you'll explore some ideas of where the e-commerce industry might be headed in the future. You did it! Congrats on finishing this section of the course. You're that much closer to starting or advancing your digital marketing or e-commerce career. Before we move on, let's reflect on what you've already learned. In this part of the course, you learned that digital marketing is more than just creating ads to drive sales. An effective digital marketing strategy can affect every interaction a brand has with its customers. You explored the idea of the customer journey and how businesses use journey maps to understand their customers' needs and motivations. You also found out how customer journey maps can work together with marketing funnels to focus marketing efforts where they'll be most effective. Then you learned more about the top of the funnel and the tactics businesses use to reach and engage with potential customers in the awareness and consideration stages. You explored the bottom of the funnel and some ways to turn leads into loyal customers. Finally, you discovered the importance of measuring success throughout the funnel and how the insights businesses gain can help them improve the customer journey. By learning customer journey maps and marketing funnels, you're beginning to understand how to use digital channels effectively to reach customers. In the next section of the course, we'll find out what goes into building a digital marketing strategy and learn more about some of the tools and tactics you can use to carry one out. Meet you there. Hi there, glad to have you back. In the last part of the course, we explored what digital marketing and e-commerce can do for brands. You learned how customer journey maps can help companies understand their customers and nurture relationships over time. You also discovered how they use digital marketing funnels to raise awareness, encourage consideration, drive conversions, and foster loyalty. By learning about these concepts, you're starting to build a strong foundation for the next phase of your career. In this part of the course, you'll learn that a funnel fits into a larger digital marketing strategy. You'll explore the relationship between branding and digital marketing and some specific ways companies can build their brands. You'll also find out what goes into planning a digital marketing strategy and get to know some of the most common channels and tactics they involve, like search engine optimization, social media marketing, and email marketing. Using these channels, businesses can attract customers, drive sales, and maintain relationships over time. Creating a digital marketing strategy is one of the most effective things brands can do to reach customers. So it's crucial to understand how they work, even if you're just starting out in the industry. In fact, one of the first things I did when starting out as a product marketing manager was collaborating on digital marketing strategies for social media. I worked hands-on in developing ways to reach and engage our target audience. Digital marketing strategies are so important because they ensure that a brand's digital marketing and sales activities all work together toward a common goal. I'm so excited to get started, and I hope you are too. So far, I've said a lot about brands, how they find their audiences, how they engage with customers, and how they build loyalty and boost sales. But what exactly is a brand, and how does it relate to digital marketing and e-commerce? In this video, we'll explore why understanding brands is so important for digital marketing. A brand is how a business or organization is perceived by the public. There are a lot of factors that can influence a brand, like values, culture, design elements, and tone of voice. And companies can do things to build their brands, but a brand isn't a physical asset like a product or service. Products and services are the things a business sells, like clothing, software, or entertainment. A brand is more like a personality or a reputation. It's the sum of who you are and what people think about you and your products. So why is it important to know about brands and their value? Because a company's brand guides all of their marketing and sales efforts. Before they can even start thinking about ads or promotion, companies need to understand their mission, values, and unique offerings. Marketing efforts can and should change with the times, but a brand identity is permanent. Think of it this way. If a brand is who you are, marketing is how you get people's attention. So a company can pour tons of resources into a digital marketing strategy, but without a strong brand identity, no one's going to remember who they are. Likewise, they can have great values and amazing products, but they still need marketing to build brand recognition and drive sales. A brand is the foundation of a successful digital marketing strategy, but digital marketing can also affect public perception of your brand. You can't have one without the other. A strong brand can be incredibly valuable, and digital marketing can make it even stronger. For example, digital marketing campaigns can help increase value through brand equity. What is brand equity? It's the value consumers attribute to one brand's offering when compared with similar products from another brand. When a brand has positive equity, it means consumers feel good about the brand and might pay more for it than an identical product from another company. For example, let's say we have 2 bottles of sunscreen with identical ingredients, one from a known and trusted brand and the other from a lesser known brand. Brand equity is how much more customers are willing to pay for the brand they know and trust than the other one, even though they have the same ingredients. The trust people have in the familiar brand adds to its overall value. Digital marketing is one of the ways businesses build that trust. When they run an ad campaign, those ads don't just get consumers to take notice, they can also help shape public perception of the brand. Digital marketing can communicate a brand's values, personality, and perspective, which can influence how people think of them. All right, time to review. A brand is more than just another word for a business. It's how customers think and feel about a company and its products. It's also the foundation for successful marketing and sales strategies. Digital marketing, in turn, can help build brand equity, recognition, and trust. Moving forward, we'll begin to explore how brands create digital marketing strategies that support their larger goals. Now that you understand the relationship between branding and marketing, it's time to get deeper into how brands use digital marketing strategies to reach business goals. When you're just starting out in digital marketing or e-commerce, you probably won't be responsible for creating a digital marketing strategy. Unless you're working at a small company, setting a strategy is usually a broad, collaborative effort, but you'll definitely help execute the strategy, even if it's set by others. That's why it's important for you to understand what a digital marketing strategy is and what goes into building one. Simply put, a digital marketing strategy is a plan for achieving specific goals through online channels to support and advance business objectives. So now, let's discuss what actually goes into creating a digital marketing strategy. Before you can start planning things like ad campaigns or social media outreach, you need to research your audience and set meaningful goals. These steps will tell you who you're trying to reach and what you want to accomplish. You'll learn more about how to do these things later in the program. All you need to know right now is that they're essential to the success of any digital marketing strategy. Once you've completed your research and set your goals, it's time to work out a strategy. That means you're using what you've learned to guide customers through each stage of the digital marketing funnel with the most effective tactics and media mix. Media mix refers to the combination of digital channels used to reach your goals and how you divide your budget among them. These are all the activities that go into your marketing funnel. To select your media mix, you'll first review your existing media content to find out if there are any gaps. After that, you can decide which channels to focus on, what content and campaigns to run on those channels, and how to allocate your budget. Let's try an example. Imagine you're part of a team that's working with a high-end jewelry retailer who wants to drive a 30% increase in revenue within 3 years. You know that jewelry customers can take a long time to go from awareness to purchase. So you pick marketing goals that support movement through the funnel, bringing in new customers and nurturing existing leads more effectively. These are upper and middle funnel concerns that should boost sales over time. That means you'll need to concentrate on raising awareness and encouraging consideration to achieve them. Here's a simplified version of a digital marketing strategy for these goals. To increase awareness and draw in new customers, your team puts 40% of its budget toward upper funnel efforts. From your research, you know that video ads are the most effective way for raising awareness among your target audience. Another 40% of your budget goes to driving leads in the middle of the funnel. Use this money to engage customers across different channels, like social media and a paid ad campaign to reach customers who are actively researching jewelry purchases. The last 20% is for serving product-focused ads to website visitors and email marketing. The goal of the email campaign is to turn those leads you nurtured in the upper funnel into paying customers. Each part of your funnel is important, but most of your budget goes to the top and middle sections to help you reach new customers and nurture leads. Once you have a strategy in place, you can start creating the content you'll need to run your campaigns. That includes everything from email templates to video animations, ad copy, and banner images. You'll learn more about creating all that content later in the program. Lastly, you'll need a plan to measure and analyze the results of your efforts so you know how you can improve in the future. That one's really important, and we'll explore some ways to do that later in this course. And there you have it. There's a lot that goes into creating a digital marketing strategy, but remember, this is a team effort. You may only be responsible for things like aligning budgets to marketing activities or analyzing the results of a campaign. Let's recap. To plan an effective digital marketing strategy, you first need to research your audience and set goals that support the business overall. Next, you review your existing media for gaps, select marketing channels, and plan the content you'll use to reach your goals. Finally, you'll create a plan to measure and analyze results. And if all this seems like a lot, don't worry. We'll break everything down for you over the course of this program. Coming up, we'll learn more about setting effective goals for your marketing strategy. So far, we've covered the basic elements of digital marketing strategy, the importance of customer research, and what goes into customer personas. Now, let's think about the next part of the process, setting goals for digital marketing strategy. We all set goals, whether in our professional or personal lives, but we're more likely to reach our goals if we're clear about why they matter and what they involve. That's as true at all levels of a business as it is for individuals. Every company, department, team, and employee benefits from setting clear and relevant goals to guide their work. You already know that digital marketing goals should support a business's larger goals, but what's the difference between a marketing goal and a business goal? And how do you make sure they're aligned? Let's start with business goals. Business goals are desired aims, achievements, or outcomes for a business. They're typically big, long-term, and have the potential to affect an entire company. They include things like increasing profits, gaining new customers, improving customer service, raising productivity, or launching new products or services. Marketing goals tend to be smaller, more targeted, and you guessed it, related to marketing activities. There are specific objectives in a marketing plan or strategy that should support a business's larger aims. Some common marketing goals include raising brand awareness, increasing web traffic, generating new leads, and driving sales or conversions. So how do you connect a marketing goal like raise brand awareness to a business goal like increase profits? For starters, both your business goals and your marketing goals need to be specific and measurable. So for example, let's say there's a company that makes photo editing software and they want to expand their customer base. A well-defined version of this business goal could be something like grow our number of active customers by 25% over the next 2 years by adding 5 frequently requested features to our software. That's way more specific, right? It tells you what they're going to do, how they plan to do it, and when they want to get it done. You'll learn more about setting well-defined goals later in this course. For now, let's consider this goal from a marketing perspective. What kinds of digital marketing goals could help this company expand its active user base? How about increasing website traffic? After all, people need to visit the website to sign up for an account. But more website traffic doesn't necessarily equal more new users. It would depend on how many of those visitors are new versus existing customers and what they're doing once they get to the site. So increasing website traffic might work, but maybe there's a better option. What about generating new leads? Since a lead is someone who is already interested in a company, lead generation is more likely to result in more signups than general website traffic. A well-defined version of that goal could be, we will increase our lead generation by 40% in the next year by running upper funnel ads that highlight our new features and increasing our mid-funnel budget by 20%. By raising awareness of the new features and increasing the budget for activities that create new leads, the marketing goal supports the business goal of growing its user base. That's one example of how a marketing goal can support a business goal. But there are a lot more. In fact, you can think of business goals like the top part of a pyramid. There are a lot of different goals below that support them. So, a digital marketing strategy can even have multiple goals that build toward that top business objective. And you may also have goals for each part of your strategy. For example, you could set goals specifically for your social media or email marketing efforts. When all these smaller goals are aligned to the big things a business wants to achieve, they are much more likely to reach those aims. Let's recap. Well-defined goals are important at all levels of a business. Business goals are long-term aims that can impact a company at all levels. Marketing goals are specific to marketing efforts, but should always contribute to business-wide aims. In the next lesson, we'll explore some of the tactics and channels brands can use to advance their marketing and business goals. Meet you there. In the last lesson, you learned all about creating a digital marketing strategy. We covered customer and competitor research, setting marketing goals to align with business goals, and what to consider when selecting digital channels. Let's expand on that last point. There are a lot of digital channels to pick from when planning strategies and campaigns, from email to social media to video and beyond. But all those channels fit into 3 main categories of digital media: paid, owned, and earned. And a strong digital strategy takes advantage of all of them. You'll find out more about each one as you move through the program, but let's start with a quick overview. First, paid media is exactly that. It's any form of digital promotion a brand pays to put online. Some examples of paid media include banner ads, video ads, social media ads, shopping ads, and pop-ups. You'll learn more about some of these types of paid ads later in the course. The big advantage of paid ads is that they produce results quickly. The downside is that those results go away instantly when you stop paying for them. And paying for ads can get expensive over time. That's why paid media is just one piece of a larger digital strategy. Paid ads can lead directly to purchases, but they also help drive traffic to a business's owned and earned media channels as well. Now let's move on to the second type, owned media. Owned media refers to all the digital content a brand fully controls. Owned media content can be persuasive, but unlike paid media ads, it doesn't advertise or sell products directly. Instead, it provides value by giving customers what they need in order to make informed decisions. Think of it this way. If paid ads brings consumers to a company's website, owned content is what convinces them to stay. Owned media includes things like website content, blogs, ebooks, and social media content. Documents like white papers and case studies can also inspire confidence by explaining why brands make certain decisions and conveying the results through real-world examples. The thing about owned media is that it can't do much on its own. No matter how great a company's website or case studies are, they can't educate customers who don't know they exist. Businesses can bring customers to their own content through paid ads and ranking highly on search engine results pages. We'll break down some ways to improve search rankings in a bit. Right now, let's move on to the last type of digital media, earned. Earned media is any positive digital exposure generated through personal or public recommendations. Companies don't create or own earned media, and they can't pay for it directly. It's generated by customers in response to things like product quality and customer service, in addition to successful marketing campaigns. So if a brand starts a formal partnership with an influencer, that's paid advertising. But if a customer likes a product so much that they tell their friends about it for free, that's earned media. Basically, it's the reputation a brand builds for being great at what they do. Earned media can take the form of social media mentions, blog posts, written or video reviews, or positive press coverage like product profiles or best of lists. Customer-generated content can help businesses sell products, but it does way more than that. It also helps brands reach new markets and build public trust. Before we move on, let's review. To be successful online, brands use a combination of paid, owned, and earned media. Paid media is advertising you pay for, like banner or video ads. Owned media is content a brand creates and controls, like website content, blogs, or case studies. Earned media is positive, customer-generated content that raises awareness and enhances a brand's reputation. Now that you know about the different types of digital media, you're ready to learn more about the specific tactics and channels brands use to reach customers. Have you ever wondered how a search engine decides which results go at the top of a page and which go at the bottom? What about the results that end up on page 2, 20, or 200? Search engines work by exploring and indexing the content of billions of web pages across the internet. When you search for a term, the search engine uses an algorithm to rank the results by relevance and quality. Those rankings matter because search engines are the most common method people use to find products and services online, and the internet is a crowded place. Let's try an experiment. Say that I want to buy a plant for my home office, maybe a small cactus. If I search the web for the phrase potted cactus for sale, I get over 26 million results. That's more than 2 million pages of links. And just how many of those results do you think I'm going to click on before I find the cactus I want? It's a lot less than 26 million. So ranking in search results is essential for reaching customers. But how do you make sure you're producing content that a search engine recognizes as relevant and high quality? The answer is a process called search engine optimization, or SEO for short. SEO is a set of practices designed to increase the quantity and quality of traffic to a website. At the most basic level, it involves optimizing content around commonly used search terms, also called keywords, to improve a website's position in search engine results pages. Search engine results pages, or SERPs, are the pages of results produced when someone performs a search. Typically, the higher a site ranks in these search listings, the more likely customers are to click on it. And the more visitors you have, the more chances you have to drive sales, establish authority, and build your brand. SEO and paid ads each have advantages and disadvantages. You've already learned that ads produce results quick, but those results disappear when you stop paying for them. With SEO, it's the reverse. The exposure you get from good SEO can last much longer than paid ads. But rising in the SERP rankings can take time and efforts, which is why SEO and paid ads are often used together. SEO has been around since the early days of the internet, and it's evolved a lot in that time. These days, it involves a lot of different activities. Let's go over a few SEO basics now: keyword research, quality content, and website structure. First, keyword research is the process of identifying common search terms and phrases consumers use to find products or services online. For example, some common keywords for a company that sells musical instruments might include guitar, drum set, or grand piano for sale. Part of SEO is finding the keywords that are most relevant for your audience and products and making sure they're part of your content. But you can't just pack your website full of keywords and expect good results. You also need quality content that's useful and usable for your customers. That means not only writing great content, but keeping it up to date. You want website content to match a business's current offerings and reflect keyword trends. Quality content is a win-win because it's helpful for customers and tends to rank better in SERPs. Your content should also be easy to find, so organizing the site in a user-friendly way is important too. A well-structured website makes it easier for both search engines and customers to navigate your content. Time to recap. SEO is the process of increasing the quality and quantity of traffic to a website from search engines. Businesses can improve their search engine results page rankings, or SERPs, in a few different ways, including keyword research, creating useful, usable content, and a clear website structure. Of course, there's a lot more to good SEO than we've covered here. In the next part of the course, you'll find out more about SEO as well as some paid advertising strategies. So far in this lesson, you've learned about 3 types of digital media: paid, owned, and earned. You also discovered how brands use SEO to rank in search engine results pages and increase traffic to their owned content. Now we're going to explore paid advertising in a little more depth. You'll recall that paid advertising is any form of digital promotion a brand pays to put online. A big part of that promotion is search engine marketing, or SEM. SEM is the process of generating traffic to a website through paid ads that appear on search engine results pages. SEM ads are the ones that appear above or below the regular search listings in a SERP. A quick note on terminology here. Some companies think of SEM as a broad umbrella that includes both paid ads in search engines and SEO. We're going to simplify things and say that SEO has to do with the ranking of search listings within SERPs, while SEM happens through paid ads. SEM starts out the same way that SEO does, with keyword research. So, if your company sells vitamins, you might want to serve an ad to customers who search for the phrase vitamin C. Once you have your keywords, you enter an ad auction to bid on them. An ad auction is how a search engine determines which ads to display in the order they're shown when someone performs a search. When you bid on a keyword, you decide how much you're willing to pay when someone searches for a term and clicks your ad. This is known as pay per click, or PPC, because you pay only when someone clicks on your ad. The amount you pay when someone clicks on a PPC ad is called the cost per click, or CPC. Now, just like in every other auction, it's possible to lose your bid. That means your ad won't come up every time someone searches for your keyword. Search engines decide which ads to display based on factors like quality and maximum bid amount, and you'll learn more about them later on in the program. SEM is a great way to reach specific customers quickly, but it has other advantages too. When a customer finds a website through search listings, they'll usually end up on that website's homepage. But paid ads give you control over where those visitors land on your site, whether that's a sign-up form or a specific product page. But one of the biggest benefits of paid ads is that they create opportunities for remarketing. Remarketing allows you to identify previous customers or visitors to your website and serve them paid ads on other sites and social media platforms. Have you ever browsed a website for a pair of jeans and then noticed those same jeans popping up on other sites? That's remarketing. It's a way of recapturing the attention of people who are already interested in your brand. And that's really important because most website visitors leave before completing an action like making a purchase. Maybe they want to consider their options or do more research before buying. Remarketing encourages those people to come back by reminding them why they clicked on your ad in the first place. Website visitors and previous customers are also the segment of your audience that's most likely to convert, so those extra reminders can have a big impact. You'll be able to explore all of these concepts more later in the program. Right now, it's time to review. SEM is a way for brands to generate traffic to their websites by placing paid ads on search engine results pages. It uses a model called pay-per-click advertising, which charges you when someone clicks on your ad. Paid ads have some big advantages like reaching customers quickly, controlling where visitors land on your site, and remarketing. Next up, you'll learn about some other types of paid advertising for attracting and converting customers. Now that you've learned about SEO, SEM, and display ads, it's time to introduce two more channels businesses can use to reach their digital marketing goals: social media marketing and email marketing. Social and email each have different strengths, which makes them much more effective together than separately. So before we discuss each channel on its own, let's go over what they do well and how they can work together to raise awareness and maintain customer relationships over time. Brands can do a lot on social media. Because so many people are on social media, it's one of the most effective channels for finding new audiences. With social media accounts, companies can engage with customers, run ads, and even generate earned media through viral content. But social media also has one big drawback. Businesses can control what they post to their accounts, but they can't control the platforms themselves. So if a particular platform shuts down or changes their algorithm, it can affect a brand's ability to reach their followers overnight. The good news is that social media can help brands grow their email lists, which they own completely. Email marketing doesn't have the reach of social media, but it also doesn't need to. That's because email marketing is about nurturing relationships with people who are already interested in a brand. And because businesses control their email lists, they can nurture those relationships over time. Email marketing is also incredibly cost-effective. On average, it brings in more than $40 for every dollar spent. And there you have it. Together, email and social media marketing helps brands increase their reach, raise awareness, and connect with customers online. You'll learn more about both of these channels and how they work together in just a bit. Meet you there. Throughout this course, we've stressed how important it is to find and connect with target audiences where they are online. One of the best places to do that is on social media. Well over half the people in the entire world are on social media, and that number is only growing. Maybe one audience likes Twitter more than TikTok, or another prefers Facebook to Instagram. But no matter what a business sells, chances are good that social media is a key part of their marketing strategy. Social media marketing is the practice of creating and publishing content for social media platforms in order to drive engagement and promote a brand or product. Creating social media content might seem simple. After all, people post interesting, funny, or touching content to their personal accounts every day. But there's a lot more to social media marketing than writing clever or informative posts. Social media marketing involves a lot of the same concerns as a company's overall digital marketing strategy, like increasing engagement, expanding their reach, and building their brand. It's just that all of those activities happen on social media platforms. So now, let's explore some of the ways businesses use social media to amplify their efforts and reach their digital marketing goals. We can break down these activities into 5 categories, known as the 5 pillars of social media marketing. These pillars include strategy, planning and publishing, listening and engagement, analytics and reporting, and paid social media. Let's start with strategy. Before planning your content or campaign, you need to know who your audience is and which social platforms they use. So if your audience is mostly interested in content about home decorating, you might not post on a platform that caters to business and networking. Posting the right content in the right places can save both time and money. To know what types of content to create, you'll also need to understand your goals. For example, if you want to build community around your brand, you might focus on interactive content like polls or questions and answer sessions. But if your goal is to promote a new product, running a contest or giveaway might get better results. Understanding your audience and having clear goals will help you create effective, relevant content. Once you've set your strategy and content, you'll need to consider planning and publishing. That means deciding when to post content and how often to post content. The goal is to engage followers enough so that they remember you, but not so often that you overwhelm them. Next up is social listening and engagement. Once your content is out in the world, you can track and analyze social conversations and mentions related to your brand. This could mean monitoring direct responses to a brand's social content or earned media, like posts about its products, which are great ways to find out how customers feel about your business. The insights you gain can help you decide how to respond to and engage with customers on social platforms. Those responses are important because they can affect your brand image and customer relationships. Think of social listening and engagement like a conversation. First, a business publishes content. Then they listen to how their audience responds. By paying attention to what their audience says, they can determine the best way to reply. For example, if someone posts about how helpful they find a particular tool, like a habit tracking app, the brand could respond with thanks and encouragement. But if they post that the app isn't working correctly, they could share troubleshooting tips instead. Next, you'll use analytics and reporting to find out how your content or campaigns are performing and communicate results to others. Social media analytics tools can track and measure things like comments, shares, follows, or clicks. They can tell you how many people are using a hashtag or the number of positive mentions over time. Businesses can use these insights to respond to trends or guide future strategies. Finally, there's paid social media. Paid social media ads have a lot of the same benefits as paid ads for other channels. It can expand a brand's reach beyond its existing customer base and allow them to remarket products. But advertising on social media has some other advantages too. For one thing, social platforms provide more detailed user information than search engines. That means brands serve ads to highly specific customer groups. Finally, paid social media is a good way for brands to grow their email lists. By linking ads to email sign-up forms, businesses can contact their followers directly and send them special offers. Like any digital marketing strategy, social media marketing involves getting to know your audience, finding them online, and setting meaningful goals. Only then can you plan, create, and publish content. Next, social listening and measurement can tell you how to engage with your audience effectively and refine your strategy. Lastly, with paid social ads, you can expand your reach, address specific customers, and grow your email lists. Coming up, you'll learn more about social media marketing and how to use email to maintain customer relationships. So far, you've learned that social media marketing enables brands to extend their reach and build a list of email subscribers. In this video, We'll discuss some of the things brands can do with those subscriber lists once they have them. But before we get to that, let's define what email marketing is and what it isn't. First, most importantly, email marketing is not spam. Spam, also known as junk mail, refers to any unwanted emails sent out in bulk to a mass recipient list. These are the emails that land in your inbox even though you never signed up for them. Spammers might make claims that are too good to be true or send the same content to everyone on their list, regardless of their interests. And they'll often send so many emails that they end up annoying potential customers. So, how is email marketing different from spam? Email marketing is when a brand sends messages to a list of existing subscribers to share information, drive sales, or create community. That means sending relevant, helpful content to people who've agreed to receive it. When it's done well, email marketing helps brands build and maintain relationships with potential and existing customers. So how do brands avoid coming across like spammers? How do they make sure they're sending the right content to the right people at the right time? They use segmentation and personalization. Let's take these ideas one at a time. First, segmentation. Email segmentation is the practice of dividing an email subscriber list into smaller groups or segments based on criteria like interest, location, or purchase history. It allows brands to customize emails for different groups and send subscribers content that's relevant to them. And the more brands learn about their subscribers, the more they can segment their lists, which makes it easier to build relationships with customers. So, if someone buys cat food from a pet store, they might appreciate getting ads about other cat-related products, like treats or toys. But if they get a coupon for bird seed, they might delete that email. And they could even unsubscribe altogether, which is the opposite of what the pet store wants. Let's move on to personalization. While segmentation helps marketers decide what email content to send to which people, personalization is a process of customizing email content for individual subscribers. That doesn't mean writing a different email for every single subscriber. If email marketers did that, they wouldn't have time for anything else. But there are some things they can do to deliver an experience that feels specific to each individual. Here are a few examples. Email marketers can address each recipient directly by putting their name in the greeting or subject line. Send promotions for special events like birthdays, holidays, or anniversaries. Send messages that match where customers are in the marketing funnel. For example, an email about a loyalty program probably shouldn't go to subscribers who are still at the consideration stage. And finally, they can follow up on previous interactions, like asking a customer to share their opinion on a recent purchase. Now you know the difference between email marketing and spam, and how brands use techniques like segmentation and personalization to build and maintain customer relationships. Coming up, you'll learn about some different types of emails that can engage, convert, and retain customers. You made it! You've learned so much about attracting, engaging, and communicating with customers through digital channels. Let's sum up what we've done so far. First, we found out why digital marketing is essential for building a strong brand. Next, we covered the basics of creating a digital marketing strategy. We explored the foundations of a digital marketing strategy, learning about your audience and setting goals that support a business's larger aims. Then we discussed picking channels and creating content to carry out that strategy. We went through some of the most common channels and tactics that marketing and sales teams use in their strategies, like search engine optimization, which helps them reach audiences through search results. We also discussed search engine marketing, pay-per-click advertising, and display ads. Finally, we explored how companies expand their reach and engage with customers through social media, and how they build relationships using email marketing. Remember that even if you never write an acquisition email or do keyword research, understanding these concepts is an important foundation for your career. By now, you may be starting to get a better idea of which parts of digital marketing and e-commerce interest you the most, but there's still more to come. In the next part of the course, you'll learn about some of the ways companies measure and improve their marketing and sales strategies so they can better meet their goals. Welcome back! Earlier in the course, you learned about the relationship between digital marketing and branding. You also explored the different parts of a digital marketing and e-commerce strategy, including research, goal setting, and selecting the right channels and tactics. Lastly, you found out a little about some of the channels and tactics like SEO, SEM, social media, and email marketing. This part of the course is all about data, how you measure it, how you interpret it, and how it can make your strategy better. We'll explore the concept of performance marketing and examine some ways you might be working with data in an entry-level digital marketing or e-commerce role. We'll discuss how data can help you find out what's working well and how to adapt to necessary change. We'll also go over some ways to demonstrate those findings through data storytelling. Measuring the success of your marketing efforts may be the most important thing you learn in your digital marketing or e-commerce career. No matter how carefully you plan your strategy, measuring your results can always help you make it better, from building your brand to engaging customers and maximizing sales. The first time I really worked with data and digital marketing was when I began running paid advertising for my own e-commerce store. I wanted to understand if the effort I was making was worth the extra cost. This made me realize that there was a whole world of measurement beyond the paid campaigns I was running. I could measure the health of my whole store through different dashboards and analytics resources. This is where e-commerce and digital marketing really gets fun, because you can actually prove that your tactics are helping you reach your goals. You're almost to the end of the course, and I'm so excited for you to cross the finish line. Let's get back into it. Throughout this course, we've emphasized how important it is to measure the results of digital marketing tactics, campaigns, and strategies. In fact, these activities are so important that there's a special term to describe them: performance marketing. In this video, we'll explore what's involved in performance marketing and how it allows businesses to set goals, track results, and improve on their work. Let's get started. Imagine this. It's 1985 and you work for a marketing agency that's promoting a new breakfast cereal. You run some focus groups to learn about your target audience and what they like. You use those interviews and your past experiences as a marketer to create memorable ads for newspapers, billboards, and televisions. And then you wait. Your sales go up. The campaign works. But what you don't know is which ads were most effective and how many of the new customers found the product through your campaign. That doesn't mean your ad strategy is all guesswork, just that there's limited information you can gather. So you can keep going with that same successful strategy. Now imagine you're running that same campaign today, only online. With digital marketing, there are dozens of ways to measure the success of your tactics and campaigns. So if you place an ad for cereal online, you can track the things that just aren't possible with billboards, like how many people encounter and engage with your ad each week. Collecting and evaluating all of that information can help you rethink a weak strategy or make a good one even stronger. That's performance marketing. It's the process of using concrete information about customer behaviors to plan and refine marketing and sales strategies. It focuses on measurable results like clicks and conversions. Performance marketers set specific goals and use metrics to find out if they've reached them. You're already familiar with some performance metrics, like the number of impressions or cost per click on paid ads. Another performance metric is customer lifetime value, which refers to the average revenue generated per customer over a certain period of time. There's also ROAS, or return on ad spend. ROAS is how much revenue is gained versus how much was spent. So if you spend $100 on an ad, but made $150 as a result of that ad, the ROAS would be 150%. So for the cereal example, if you were to set a goal of increasing overall revenue, ROAS might be one of the metrics used to measure success. There are so many ways to measure performance at every stage of the marketing funnel. And those measurements are critical because the average customer journey takes about 6 touch points. That number has doubled more than twice over a 15-year period. Performance marketing lets us gauge how each of those touch points contributes to our goals, which helps us reach and engage with customers more effectively. Time to review. Measuring results with performance marketing is one of the most important things you can do to ensure success. By tracking metrics like ROAS and customer lifetime value, digital marketers can reach their goals and refine their strategies over time. Up next, you'll learn more about performance metrics and working with the data they produce. Performance marketing generates a lot of data, from impressions and clicks at the top of the funnel to conversion and sales numbers at the bottom. Data is critical throughout the whole marketing and sales cycle. Data is a collection of facts or information. Your company's total number of social media followers, how many hours a team spends on a project, or total year-end revenue. All of those numbers are data. Marketing data can help you answer questions in a concrete way by drawing on real customer behaviors and interactions. The insights are useful for planning campaigns, predicting future behaviors, and finding out whether your activities are helping you reach your KPIs. You'll recall that a KPI, or Key Performance Indicator, is a measurement used to gauge how successful a business is in its effort to reach a business or marketing goal. Your KPIs could be certain metrics, like ROAS. But if you find that you aren't reaching your goals, you might need to prioritize different KPIs instead. To know if you're meeting your KPIs, you'll need to collect and interpret the relevant data. The process of monitoring and evaluating data to gain actionable insights is called data analytics. And it's one of the most important skill sets you can develop for a career in digital marketing or e-commerce. That doesn't mean you need to be a statistics expert to work in these fields. What it does mean is that most entry-level roles you'll encounter involve working with data in some way. Let's go over a few of the main data analytics responsibilities you might have. Pulling, reporting, and analyzing data. Data pulling is the process of collecting data from analytics tools and putting it into a spreadsheet or database, making it easy to access and work with. For example, you might have campaigns with similar goals running on different platforms like Facebook, Bing, and Google. To make it easier to compare and analyze your data, you'll need to bring it all together. One way to do that is by pulling the data from each source, organizing it into a spreadsheet. Data reporting, also called performance reporting, involves organizing and summarizing data to track performance across marketing and sales efforts. This process makes it easier to identify trends and spot unexpected results more quickly. For example, if you've pulled data from multiple sources, reporting makes it easier to tell if one has a higher ROAS than another. Quality reporting provides a clear picture of the raw numbers. It should help you shape questions that can be answered through analysis. Data analysis is the process of examining data in order to draw conclusions, make predictions, and drive informed decision-making. If reporting is the what, then analysis is the why. It helps you develop insights that explain the reported results and make suggestions for next steps, like shifting your budget or prioritizing different KPIs. You'll learn lots more about working with data later in the program, but I hope you feel like you've got a better understanding of what data is and why it's so important for marketing and sales success. Now, let's recap. The data produced by performance marketing is an incredibly valuable resource for understanding how well your strategy is meeting its goals. In an entry-level role, you may find yourself pulling, reporting, or analyzing performance data. Through data analytics, you can find out if you're meeting your goals, anticipate customer behavior, and make plans for the future. Coming up, we'll get into some ways to interpret data and present it to others. All right, you've set your strategy, picked your channels, planned your content, and measured your results. Now what? You know that all data should tell you which channels and content are performing well, But what does good performance actually mean? Is it when an ad gets a lot of clicks? When a tweet goes viral? What about increased website traffic? With so many different touch points and channels shaping customer brand interactions, how do you know where to start? In this video, we'll explore how businesses use reporting data to find out which of their marketing and sales efforts are the most successful. Success can mean different things depending on your particular marketing and business goals. But every digital marketer wants to know which touch points are getting customers to take action. Say you're running a campaign for a company that sells art supplies. If tons of people are clicking on an ad for a new line of paints, but only a few of them eventually make a purchase, that ad might not be so successful after all. In order to optimize a strategy, you need to know which touch points are influencing customer decisions the most. Of course, you can't know exactly what your customers are thinking. All you have to go on is what they do. But those customer behaviors can tell you a lot about where your efforts are succeeding and where they're falling short. The process of determining which content and channels are responsible for generating leads, conversions, or signups is called attribution. This isn't something you need to determine on your own. Most analytics tools include features that can use your data to find out which touch points and keywords customers interact with before taking action. You'll get some practice with these tools later in the program. By accurately attributing success to specific marketing and sales efforts, businesses can make informed decisions about where to invest their time, budget, and resources. Now, some people assume that the last touch point should get all the credit. And it makes sense, right? People often think that the touch point right before purchase must be the one that convinces a customer to take action. But that isn't always the case. You know that the average customer encounters 6 touch points on their purchase journey, and that the path isn't always straightforward. Say someone is shopping for a new computer, and they decide which model to buy after the second touch point, but then they put off actually making the purchase. Maybe they're waiting for a holiday or for the computer to go on sale. Maybe they just get distracted. It might take another touch point to remind them of the purchase they already planned to make. Both of those touch points deserve some credit, and attribution is how they get it. Businesses have some choices when it comes to attribution models. We won't go over all of them here, just a few to give you a sense of how they attribute success. Data-driven, first click, last click, and linear. Data-driven attribution measures customer engagement with marketing content across channels to understand what's motivating them to take action. It assigns credit to each touch point based on statistics, like which ads or keywords most often lead to conversions. Data-driven attribution draws on real customer behaviors to assign credit. But if you don't have enough meaningful data for this model, they have other options. Here are a few examples. First click attribution assigns all the credit to the first touch point that eventually leads to a conversion. Let's go back to our art supply store. If a customer's first interaction with the brand is a social media ad for oil paints, all the credit for their purchase would go to that ad, even if it takes a few more touch points for them to buy something. Last click attribution assigns all the credit to the last known touch point before conversion. If our art store customer makes a purchase after the 4th or 5th touch point, maybe a promotional email, last click attribution would give full credit to that email. Linear attribution assigns equal credit to each touch point along the customer journey. So for our art store customer's journey, the social ad, promotional email, and all the touch points in between share credit for the eventual conversion. Attribution isn't an exact science, but it can give you a better idea of how customers are interacting with your content and what's leading them to take action. Using models like data-driven, first click, last click, and linear attribution, businesses can put their resources in places that will maximize customer conversions. Up next, you'll learn about communicating the insights you get from your data insights to other people. Working with data isn't just about the numbers. You know that the process of data pulling, reporting, analysis, and attribution produces valuable insights that can change the course of a project or strategy. But how do you turn those insights into action? How do you persuade key people that something needs to be done? By using your data to tell a story. Without a story, data is just numbers. Those numbers can tell you what happened, but they can't tell you why it happened, why it's important, and what you can do about it. That's where data storytelling comes in. Data storytelling is the practice of conveying data insights to a specific audience using a clear and compelling narrative. Data has a lot of stories to tell, and no two people will tell exactly the same one. Everyone brings their own perspectives, experiences, and biases to data storytelling, and you'll find out about navigating some of those challenges in a bit. For now, let's think about how to create stories with data. A data story has three main components: the data itself, a compelling narrative, and clear visualizations. Together, these pieces should engage your audience by explaining what you learned and how you can use that information to take action. Let's take them one at a time. First, data. Think of your data points like the characters in a play. If they're all on stage at once, it can be hard to know where to focus your attention. So you need to be selective about which numbers you highlight. The most important data points are your lead characters, while others could play supporting roles, and some may not need to be in the scene at all. To decide which data points are important, it's crucial to understand the questions you're trying to answer. For example, maybe you work for a toy company that's measuring the results of a new social media campaign. Your question could be as simple as asking whether this new campaign is more efficient than the last one. For that question, your main data point might be return on ad spend. But remember, you need to understand the question you want to answer to know what data to use. Being clear about your questions and the data you can use to answer them is also the first step in planning your next piece of your data story, the narrative. The narrative is like the plot of a play. It's what happens in the story. A well-structured narrative is engaging, memorable, and persuasive. Once you've picked the data points and insights that answer your questions, you can start building a narrative that conveys them effectively. In the toy company example, you'd explain how the ROAS data you've gathered compares to the previous campaign and how those results can impact your future efforts. In other words, your data story should explain not just what your insights mean, but why they matter to your audience and what they can do about them. That doesn't mean you need to have all the answers. In fact, some of the best stories create space for discussion. But appealing to your audience with a strong narrative can draw attention to your insights and encourage others to take action. You'll learn more about how to create an effective narrative in just a bit. Now that we've explored a simple narrative structure, let's get into the last element of data storytelling, visualizations. Data visualizations are graphic representations of data that convey information. Data visualizations are like the costumes, lightings, and stage set of a play. They focus attention and help the audience understand what's happening in the narrative. Visualizations can take the form of charts, graphs, infographics, or other illustrations. A well-placed visualization clarifies trends and expresses relationships between data points. Returning to the toy company example again, we could choose to represent the ROAS data as a series of numbers. But if what we want to do is compare the current campaign to the last one, it's a lot clearer to convey that relationship with a bar graph. It gets the point across quickly and clearly. You'll learn more about visualizing data and making presentations accessible to different audiences in a later course. Data storytelling is a powerful tool and one that's in high demand for digital marketing and e-commerce roles. Using data, narrative, and visualizations, we can engage audiences, communicate insights, and influence big decisions. Up next, we'll explore more about how to structure data stories.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I'm the Vice President of the Mastery team. My role is to support Google's business organization with great learning experiences. One of my core values is curiosity. And my favorite part of my job is that I get to support the curiosity of our entire business organization with great learning experiences that help people learn, grow, and develop and bring their whole selves to work every day. You will have moments through this program and throughout your journey when you don't feel confident. And confidence is so important. I'm going to tell you a story about a moment that I lacked confidence and what I did to pick myself up. It was about 10 years into my career, and I was sadly let go from my job. I was devastated. I completely lacked confidence, and I had no idea how I was going to pick myself up and find my next job. And so I went to a quote that I often think about in moments like this. And that quote is, "It's not about how you fall, it's how you get back up that counts." And I surrounded myself with a support system to help me rebuild my confidence. And there are two types of people that I highly recommend that you surround yourself with. The first is a cheerleader. This is a person that completely believes in you because they've seen that you have capabilities and that you could do this. They hold up a mirror and they describe to you moments that they've seen evidence of you displaying these capabilities. If you're not clear where you could find your biggest cheerleader, that person can be anyone in your life that has experience and exposure to you in all aspects of your life. A quick example is my sister. For me, my sister was re-entering the workforce, and I had an opportunity to support her and cheer her on as she looked for whether or not she had the skills to apply for a job. And I reminded her of all of the moments that she displayed key skills that would set her up for success in that job. All right, the second person that you can surround yourself with is a practice partner. So find a practice partner, somebody that can hold you accountable and support you as you practice. That can come from this program, that can come from any aspect of your life as well. All right, so as you think about embarking on this program, two things: find yourself your biggest cheerleader and find yourself your practice buddy, because there will be times where your confidence is shaken, and confidence will be so important. I didn't enter the marketing or e-commerce world until about midway through my career when I was choosing to make a pivot. And this certificate program didn't exist back then, but I wish it did. I'll give you a couple of tips about how I started to learn more about the marketing and e-commerce space. The first thing I did was I created a search campaign. A friend of mine was selling her condo, and so I created a campaign that really helped promote her condo, and I learned a lot about search marketing through that experience. The second thing I did was I decided to learn more about websites and decided to create a blog. And something I'm really passionate about is yoga. So I created a blog all about my yoga journey. And then I applied analytics to the blog and started to see who was accessing and reading my blog, and saw people from India, all parts of Asia that were accessing and reading this. And it was so much fun to learn through doing in both of those experiences. And so my tip for you, engage with the hands-on practice experiences through this program and potentially experiences that you might have access to outside of this program. But the main point is that we learn the most through doing. So find opportunities to practice. There will be people in your life that may try to define for you who you are and what your career should be. Some may even put doubt in your mind that you could complete this certificate and potentially create and or pivot your own career. And I'm here to tell you, step back, trust your gut, and believe that you can define who you are and who you want to be.
You did it! You're almost done with this section and the whole first course in the program. Before we wrap it up, let's recap what you learned in this part of the course. First, you found out about the importance of data and how performance marketing can help businesses succeed at every stage of the marketing funnel. You learned all about collecting, organizing, and interpreting data in order to reach marketing and sales goals. You discovered how businesses use attribution models to find out which touch points are most effective at getting customers to take action. You also learned about the power of storytelling and how conveying insights through stories can help businesses make informed, data-driven decisions. Finally, you explored some skills that can help you adapt to change when you really need to adjust your course. You're so close to the end now, and I know you'll finish strong. Just a little bit further and you'll be on your way. Congratulations on completing the first course. You've come so far and learned so much about what I personally think is a really exciting industry. Before you move on, let's take a minute to celebrate and reflect on all you've learned in this course. You started out with the basics, exploring what digital marketing and e-commerce are and a few of the many different roles and opportunities you might find in these fields. Next, you learned about how customer journey maps and marketing funnels can help a business reach their target audience and turn them into loyal customers. Then, you examined what goes into creating a digital marketing strategy and how to use digital channels for brand building, building relationships, and driving sales. Finally, you explored how measuring and interpreting performance data can improve a campaign in progress and help you plan for the future. I hope you're proud of the work you've done so far. No matter what you end up doing, whether you're a digital marketing coordinator or an e-commerce analyst, a social media manager, or something else, everything you've learned up till now will lay the foundation for the next phase of your career. And as you move through this program, you'll have the chance to hone your skills even further. In the next course, you'll learn from my fellow Googler, AK, about how to attract and engage customers using SEO, SEM, and display ads. You have some great instructors coming up in this program, and I can't wait for you to meet them. I'm so glad I got to be here for the beginning of your journey. You're off to a great start. I hope I've helped you gain the knowledge and confidence you need to move your career forward and recognize the skills you already have that can make you a great marketing or e-commerce specialist.